Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's a house!
Huh?
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
We are all Richard Allen!
Don't wait. Maybe I do have the cameras. Hold on a second. Gotta get the doggy cam. You have to always reconnect to the Wi-Fi. I think it should be. Yeah, see, there you are. Not sure where they're at, but I don't know if that's live or what that is. Can't tell. Alright, what's going on, freaks? This is our final normal day until donation night tomorrow. I got an update on a different thing that we covered fully. Remember the Bourbon Street terror attack? This guy right here, the FBI and local partners continue to provide information. And a lot of you probably weren't even around when I was covering that, which is just a few months back. But you know, we do it the same way. It's always really accurate, figure stuff out. So this is, you know, we had it all mapped out where he set these coolers out, and then he was going to have those detonate, and then he had a vehicle that was going to, you know, that he used to run over a bunch of people. And then it turns out, though, they were wondering if he was linked to other people, and then look at this. Iraqi authorities on Tuesday confirmed the arrest of an ISIS member accused of inciting the New Year's terrorist attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans that left 15 people dead, including the perpetrator. The arrest comes months after 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar of Texas killed 14 civilians, injured 5 others when he rammed a Ford F-150 through crowds of people. I mean, so this is an absolute, you know, like literal terror attack. Hey, thanks, CR. Get to remember to Kate. The suspect will be tried in Iraq under the country's anti-terror laws for being a member of ISIS. Well, that guy isn't going to do well. With efforts from the National Center for International Judicial Cooperation, a person involved in the terrorist ISIS organization was arrested for inciting the hit-and-run incident that occurred in the United States on January 2025. Doesn't that seem longer ago than that? I mean, just like, that seems like it was before the election, doesn't it? I mean, it's really pretty bizarre. It seems like it was like 6 or 7, 8 months ago, not 3. That's crazy. Let's see. Well, I think it was like New Year's, though, wasn't it? Yeah, January 1st. So it was before the election, but it just feels like it was much longer ago than that. And by the way, I think it was it? Wait a second. I didn't want to make Jessica Schubach. I was going to say Paulette Leonard. Jessica Schubach. Remember the name last night, you guys. It's Timmy.
See, we got Mary Lou.
This is Timmy.
John Boy.
It was Timmy, you guys. Don't you remember, for God's sakes? I guess Timmy just wasn't very popular or something. I don't know. Anyways, the FBI previously said it had not ruled out the possibility of accomplices being involved in the attack. So, you know, it appears to have been inspired by afar by ISIS, and it is in many ways the most challenging type of... This is what they said back then. This is pretty crazy video right here, though. That's when he's still alive in the car. Look at it. What they run up to. I haven't seen this before. Or watch this. So that they're just approaching the vehicle while he's still in it. Yeah, they got the hell out of there. And that was him. I think this is one of the times he was going around doing surveillance, looking around. But anyways, crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, Clem or George is the fly. I've called the fly Clem. I think Amber called it. I think Clem was the fly. There was like George was the fly and Clem was the fly. But there was also this other voice that Clem was, where it was just weird, sort of echoey. I don't know. It was a weird voice, so it was different. All right, so what we're going to do tonight, however, is the timeline from... We're going to go through the entire timeline in order now. Now that it's all built, it's not slow. Got the timeline, and then we're going to do like the real time. I'm going to try to do it. I don't know how I'm going to, you know, I'm going to try to do it. But I go from 3:26 until 4:20 and 47 seconds. So it'll be an hour of time, and we go through every single thing during that time. Doesn't that sound like that'd be kind of interesting? Just sort of, then you get the feel of like the actual time that stuff happened. And I found a few more little pieces of the timeline to throw in there. I still don't know when Xana and Ethan got home. Let's see. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Chat GPT. We'll just do... I might have already done it. Is this today? Today. Okay. Case summary. So this is the one of the new documents that came out today. It's like 15 pages long. Here's the summary of it, though. All right. And it's the order on... We'll just start right here. Order on defendant's motion to strike the death penalty. Denied again. So he got denied on his... see, what he's trying to do, I think, is the same thing that happened in the Delphi case, where there was some slowness or errors or something, so they took the death penalty off the table. And this one here, Ann Taylor was trying to say, oh, you know, they should be punished for, you know, giving us so much data. You know, the thing is, when they got the data, it was really organized. And I mean, you'll hear it here, though. So listen to the summary. Wait, upload. Why do I have to do that? Oh man, where the hell's my? Oh, there it is. Okay. Try that again. But hey guys, we're on another night, so if you're out there and you can help support the channel, I would appreciate it. We're currently at 0 and 1 channel membership. Alright, here we go.
Here's a maximum detailed summary of the document titled Order on Defendant's Motion to Strike Death, Penalty and Adopt Other Necessary Procedures in the Case of State of Idaho v. Brian C. Koberger. Introduction and background. Brian Koberger requested sanctions, including striking the death penalty, asserting violations of his due process rights because the state allegedly delivered discovery materials in a voluminous and disorganized manner. Koberger argued that this prevented meaningful review and preparation for trial. He also requested the court impose requirements for better organizational handling of the discovery by the state. The state argued it fulfilled its obligations, complied with Brady disclosure requirements, and contested any claim of discovery violations. Legal standards discussed. Brady v. Maryland requires the prosecution to disclose evidence favorable to the accused, including impeachment or exculpatory evidence. Idaho criminal rules. ICR 16 require timely disclosure of evidence negating guilt or reducing punishment. No constitutional right exists for broad discovery beyond Brady requirements. Discovery issues raised by defendant. Kohberger complained of a data dump. Over 68 terabytes of data. More than 13,000 photos, 15,000 business videos, and 8,000 residential videos. Over 60 digital devices and related search warrant data. Alleged lack of searchable formats, detailed logs, and specific identification of Brady material. State's response. State acknowledged discovery volume but argued most is irrelevant. Largely phone data and surveillance footage lacking evidentiary value. Claimed they disclosed materials exactly as received from investigating agencies, per Kohberger's request for everything. Provided a 320-page index detailing discovery locations, descriptions, and discovery dates. FBI-produced discovery was provided with a searchable index. State explicitly affirmed no known undisclosed Brady material existed within the large volume of surveillance and digital data. Highlighted defendant's extensive prior discovery requests, 400 itemized requests, and the state's compliance. Court's analysis and rulings. 1. No Brady or discovery violation established. A Brady violation requires evidence to be favorable, exculpatory, impeaching, suppressed, and prejudicial, none proven here. Federal precedents confirm no duty for the state to specifically label Brady materials within general discovery, especially where no bad faith is shown. Voluminous open-file discovery practice does not violate Brady if not used deceptively. Court found no evidence of state bad faith, noting Kohberger explicitly requested comprehensive discovery. Discovery provided was mirrored exactly as state received it, ensuring transparency and equality. 2. No sanctions justified. Kohberger failed to identify any undisclosed or concealed Brady evidence. Defendant's inability to personally review all surveillance footage data does not establish a discovery violation, especially as most was admittedly irrelevant.
Yeah. See that part? The defendant's inability to personally review all surveillance footage data does not establish a discovery violation. Right. Well, you know, that was Ann Taylor just deciding not to watch it because she's lazy. She's literally a lazy person. You can tell.
Kohberger's vigorous defense actions, extensive motions, expert disclosures, undermine claims of being unable to meaningfully manage discovery. 3. Court rejects organizational mandates on the state. Court declined to mandate state to specifically identify Brady or hot documents in its disclosures. Kohberger's robust defense team, adequate resources, and extended time over 2 years to review discovery weighed against imposing organizational burdens. Court viewed such mandates as potentially inviting future litigation over identification accuracy. The state already provided significant organizational assistance through detailed indexes, searchable FBI discovery, resolved technical issues, and clarified the evidentiary value of major data segments. Final decision. The court denied Kohberger's motion to strike the death penalty and impose additional organizational obligations on the state. The court emphasized the lack of a proven discovery violation or constitutional breach. The current method and extent of discovery disclosures were deemed appropriate and lawful.
Yeah, it says this comprehensive decision firmly supports the state's approach to discovery management and rejects Kohberger's claims of discovery-related due process violations, maintaining the death penalty as a possible sentencing option in the ongoing case. I mean, he's just, you know, they keep losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing and losing. I'll see Vicky White and Vintage Peacock up there. Says, wah, wah, I have too much to review. Too bad, bushy eyebrows. They should have actually just deployed the bushy eyebrows to read some of the documents. They could have probably doubled the speed. You know, have Kohberger sitting over there and his eyebrows over here, and you just, you know, double it up. Well, great, you see, because Kohberger doesn't really read the documents. Yeah, it was a joke, all right? Whew. Wow. Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do now, you guys, is we're going to start right here. And we're going to go through this whole thing. And then right when it gets to, see the clock over here? I'm going to use the surveillance on 1330 Linda Lane as the clock ticking away. And then we'll jump right into 326:35. Right? The first part, we're just going to read it. All right, but there's stuff that I added in later. I mean, after the show, I knew that there was a time out there, and I found it on article, and that's kind of what I remembered the time being. So it's in the document somewhere. I just can't find where that is now. Gray Hughes is a guilter. Hey, come on, you don't have to delete those. Yeah, those are... Gray Hughes is a guilter. Has me real facts. I don't know what that means, man. Can you type a better sentence than that? Gray Hughes is a guilter. Has me real facts. Wow. That is a fantastic sentence there. My God. Try harder next time. Can you write a better one? Mitchell, we're waiting. Go ahead, write a better one.
Here's a guilty. Has me real facts.
Yeah, come on, do it. Do it, come on. That was a pretty good Yoda. I just randomly did that out of nowhere. That was pretty good. I was like, wow, that actually sounds a little bit like Yoda. I was just doing what Zozo said. Yeah. Wow. Okay, come on. Mitchell, we're waiting for you. Okay. You're really interesting. Hey, thanks, Timothy Moore. Let's see, English. I mean, I'm not the greatest in the world at English, okay? I mean, I'm obviously English. I speak English, but, you know, I was good at the math portions, not the English on my SAT tests. We're still waiting for Mitchell's great. Yeah, when you say a guilter. Yeah, because here's the thing. Kohberger is the killer, so I guess you're right there. Whew. Wow, good guess. There's no doubt in my mind that Brian Kohberger is the killer. Thank you, Timothy Moore. All right, here we go. I'm just going to move this out further now. Without the clock isn't needed at this point. So this is on 11/12/2022 at 9 p.m. And it's they go there from 9 p.m. and then oh yeah, I have this time between. I just added in. So the time here is right in this column is how long it is between this time and this time, right? So there's these large skips, and then they kind of get less large. So 9 p.m. Xana and Ethan and apparently Bethany are over at Sigma Chi. Then at 10 p.m. Kaylee and Madison are over at the Corner Club. So let's just do all this on the screen here. So Sigma Chi is right here. This is where Ethan, Xana, and Bethany were at around 9. And then 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. is when, well, let's see, I almost have to turn these on, I guess. I hate having all this on the screen at the same time, but here's where the Corner Club is. Right here, and that is where Kaylee and Madison were hanging out. I guess they were with a friend named Jack as well. He was there with them. And that was at the Corner Club. And then at 1:37, Kaylee and Madison leave, and they also leave with the friend Jack. We see that on the Grub Truck, or not the Grub Truck video. That video is the one that we've seen in the public that was released. Hey, thanks, Just Living in Cynthia Gamez. Great, keep up the great work. You do the best research and give the most accurate information, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Well, thank you. Yeah, some people like it. So here's the Corner Club, and then they walked this. They actually went like this. And then there is surveillance footage. I'm going to say I actually put it in here at 1:39 at New St. Andrews College, and that's the video where it's what did you say to Adam? Do you guys want me to play some of these? I mean, I can get them just so you kind of remember them. Hold on a second. Kohberger. I have it in here. Just gotta find it. Just played it earlier. .mp4. I'm just looking for it. There it is. And there's no time on this one, but I'm guessing since they left the corner club at 1:37 that this might be, here, let's put it on the screen. So that's them right there, and that's going to be about like 1:38. Corner club's right around the corner there, 1:39-ish, right? So that's them walking by right there. And that is right here. So they're walking this direction. Then at 1:43, they make it to the grub truck. And everybody's seen those videos, right? Let me just do the images. It looks like this. These are just different images, right? Right there. They make it to a grub truck and they're ordering food. All right? So after they order the food at the grub truck, that's at 1:43, they start ordering. They bought some food, and then at 1:53, they're still there, but that's when they got picked up by the private driver at 1:53. Then at 1:56, the private driver got them home, because it's not far away at all, really. I'll show you on the map. If you go up in the air here, it would just be straight there, down like this, and then boom, you're home. I think I even have that here for a reason. In terms of, it's only 1.38 miles, so even going 20 miles an hour, it would take you 3 minutes. Or 26 miles an hour, you get there in 3 minutes. All right, we got that. So they got home at 1:56, and then at 2 o'clock, at 2 a.m., it's Kaylee, Madison, Bethany, and Dylan are all in Kaylee's room, and I think that Bethany and Dylan were like, hey, maybe we should get some food too, because obviously at this moment Kaylee and Madison are eating the food that they purchased. Then at 2:10 and 29 seconds, they're still in Kaylee's room apparently, and Dylan Mortensen sends, I got the word SEMS with an M in there, sends a text, and I don't know why I have 2:10 in there again, but it's just 2:10 and 29 seconds. Sends a text to an Uber driver she knew to see if he was driving, to maybe take them to go get something to eat. And then at 2:13, the Uber driver replies back to Dylan Mortensen, confirming he is driving. But then they said, let's not go. So they didn't go. And then at 2:26 a.m., Kaylee begins calling her boyfriend, or calling, let's see, is that the part there? Calling boyfriend Jack at 1122 King Road. Then at 2:42, I don't know, I gotta go look at that again. That doesn't sound right, that 226 number. So hold on. Gotta go back to that timeline on the 27th. Text messages, I think it's in here. No, it's not. I don't know. I think that might be 246. What do you guys think about that? That 226, Kaylee begins calling boyfriend Jack, and then Koberger at 242 is at his home, according to the cast records, the cell data information. And then at 2:44, Kaylee calls Jack for the 6th time. So maybe during that time frame she'd been calling. So she called, so from 2:26 to 2:44, she called him 6 times. Then at 2:44, Madison begins calling Jack. And then at 2:44, Koberger's vehicle, a vehicle matching his description, the description of his vehicle, is seen at Southeast Nevada Street and Northeast Stadium Way. So over here, right there. So the vehicle's right there at that time. And then at 2:44 a.m. And then 2:47 a.m. in, let's see, the CAS data shows that his car is in southeast Pullman. So those two things match up. His vehicle's down there, and then the CAS data shows his vehicle's in the same area. So it's very likely that the white Elantra that they're seeing on camera is Kohberger's, because his phone is even pinging in that area at a very late hour at 2:47. And then 2:52 over at the King Road residence, Madison calls Jack. She called Jack for the third time, I guess. And then at 2:52, Kaylee calls Jack for the final time. And then at 2:53, Madison calls Bethany Funk, probably to say, hey, can you try calling Jack? Maybe he'll answer if you call. And then at 2:53, Kohberger's white Elantra is seen on camera in Pullman, Washington, on Nevada Street and Stadium Way again. So the car's just kind of moving around over there. And then at 2:54, the CAS data shows that Kohberger turned his phone off right at that time. So while the vehicle is in like south west, I guess you could call it. Yeah, I mean, no, southeast, I guess. It's over here, but the vehicle's going like this. It's over in this area. So the defense team says, oh, hey, man, that must mean that he's going the other direction. How can you say that he's going? And it's just crazy. All you have to do is go here and turn. There's also other ways to go, etc. Okay, then at, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, he turns off his phone. And then look at this, 3:02, so it says 8 minutes. That's why I have this highlighted here. From 2:54 to 3:02, it's 8 minutes. And that's exactly the amount of time it would take for a vehicle to drive from right here to Floyd's Cannabis Shop. Right there at 3:02. Exactly the right amount of time. So apparently he somehow got back on here. There's other ways he could have done it too. For example, I think he could have driven down here. I guess we didn't test that out. And came up around and sort of filtered back in onto the highway over here. I wonder what the time frame of that would be. Hey, look at this, Leon Littlejohn being generous yet again. Look at that, 10 channel memberships. Unbelievable. Thank you. But come on, freaks, let's help support the channel tonight so we can roll into tomorrow's donation night, our final push, and see what we can do. All right. My goal is to be able to have given away 4,500 this month. We'll just see how it goes. All right, are you guys think, does this work pretty good, how we're doing it here? It's going to be hard when I do the live time coming up here in a minute. So then that's 3:02 at Floyd's Cannabis Shop. It took 8 minutes, matches the time it would take perfectly. All right, now we're at 3:26. So now I'm going to move this thing over here like this. We're at 3:26, and let's just start this one now. Maybe I should just turn off the vehicle sound. I'll just turn it way down, like -8 more. You won't be able to hear much on it. So there's 3:25:14. And then we're going to be at 3:26:10. I'm going to get in position now. Right here. Hey, thanks, Von Dazen. And it's going to start off at 3:26:10. Let's see if we can do this. This is going to be hard, I think. Some of it I'll probably be off, but just realize it's in the same time frame. So while this clock is ticking away, that's the surveillance camera. I enlarged it, so here we go. 3:26:10. the vehicle drives by right there. Then at 3:26:35, the vehicle drives by here, which is really slow. Must be a little something off with the cameras, or he drove really slow. So right by there, and that was at 3:26:35. Right now it's driving by right there. Then at 3:26:43, the vehicle drives around right here. So right now it drives around right by there, by this house. Okay, now the next ping is in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Next visual sighting is in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. These are all the red stuff here are when the white Elantra is spotted. Hey, thanks, LH. Von Dawson said, no doubt Brian Kohberger took a super secret way into Moscow because he's apparently a criminal genius. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so we're just kind of waiting here for 3:28:56. And where that's going to be is after it takes this route in blue, it drives by right here at 3:28:56. If we get too back, I'm not catching up, we'll just stop the clock or something and try to get caught up. So we're waiting for 3:26 or 3:28:10. No, wait, that wasn't what the time is. 3:28:56. I don't think I have the time on here. Maybe I can type it in that little short time that we got. 3:28:56 a.m. There we go. And we're getting close. So this is just the real time that the Elantra is moving around. And I think it's actually earlier than they have it, but I'm just going to go with what they got. 3:28:56. And then, so right now it's driving by the A&W right now. And then at 3:29:02 and 04, it drives by right here. And so that's just too quick. So there's like 10 seconds of missing, it's too quick. So right here it drives by there. And then at 3:29:48 or so, it drives by right there. All right, so here we go. And on the map, that's just simple. It goes like this and around, up, and then boom, there's a camera that sees the vehicle driving by right there. And that is at 3:29:48. Linda Lane camera right there. And it's interesting because you can hear the car in the background there. Alright, and then at 3:30:22, the vehicle is going to be pulling into this area right here. So that means they're going to see the car coming in like this at 3:30:22. See that? And the description is traveling southbound on King Road, turning east onto Queen Road. And that's happening right now. And that's the vehicle. Let's see if I go to here. We'll be back here a little bit. Well, we're about to pull back here, but I was just going to show you. This vehicle is going to drive by right here in a second. So it comes from, let's see, it's 3:30 and 55 seconds. We're coming up on it. I'll just put this in the front and you'll see a light coming here. 51, 52, and right when you see the headlights, 54, right there, 55, you see the headlights. And then it comes around. And just prior to that, it had been driving down like this, and it's coming around. And then I have these other times that I put in here. So at 3:30:55 is when the lights, or that's when you see the vehicle right there. And then 23 seconds later, the vehicle has the lights shine on the exterior of 1127 King Road. And that's right there. And then a minute 43 later, though, is when it takes off and you see it drive by 1112 King Road. And so that's what's interesting about a couple of these trips here. So the vehicle comes around like this. The headlights flash onto this building over here. And then it turns, and then it sits there for like, we have, in this case, a minute 43. It sits there. That's how long it takes. So it doesn't sit there for a minute 43. It sits there for like a minute 20, because then it drives away, and then you see it driving by 1112 King Road. Does that make sense? So that's a minute 43. So that means we got to sit here till 3:31:18. Or 3:33:01, I mean. So at 3:33:01, it takes off, and then it's 35 seconds until the vehicle is spotted behind 1119 King Road, but the car's on Wallanta Drive behind it. So we're waiting for 3:33:01. And here we go, and boom, now it's driving. The vehicle is driving right here at that moment, right there, and then it's turning, going around, and then 33 seconds later it's spotted back here at 3:33:36. And there it is, the 3:33:36 coming up here in a minute. Thanks, Alley Cake, for the attempted wave. Don't leave Alley Cake hanging. And there it is, 3:33:36 right now. And then a minute 37 later, it says a vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 is traveling south on Ridge Road. And so that means at 3:35:13, the vehicle is spotted over here, right down here, coming in this direction like this. So that's going to be again at 3:35:13. It's interesting how you hear that car. I'm sort of wondering if sometimes you hear the vehicle behind behind this camera, because the camera's right by the road there. I mean, look at this. So that camera is right there, and look where Wallanta Drive is. That almost made sense, because that timing there would match up pretty well with it coming down here in just a moment, but I don't know. It sounds kind of similar to the other one. 3:35:13. We're waiting for 3:35:13. The vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 heads south on Ridge Road, turning westbound. The vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 continues westbound on Paradise Drive. So they must have two cameras on that house. So there it is, 3:35:13 and 14. So right there we saw the vehicle. There's two cameras. One shows it coming down like this, and then another one sees it continuing on this way. And then there's this really large amount of missing time. Now, I wonder if law enforcement thinks that maybe the car drove over here, and sort of, there's the police station, looking out over that. There's some thoughts that people have about that. It's sort of interesting. Maybe there just wasn't any surveillance cameras, so they just think that he did that. Don't know. Thank you, Jessica Schubach and Cheryl Moran. And Timothy Cecil. All right. So when's the next one? 3. Right. I mean, so the crazy part is there's almost 3 minutes of time right after it takes that, turns west, that we have no idea where this vehicle is. So perhaps that's when he drives over and just kind of scouts out to see what the activity is, but I don't really understand that. Like, what would you be looking for? So we're waiting to get to 3:38:12, and that's when the vehicle is seen heading northbound on Walanta Drive behind 1119 King Road, which is going to be right over here. It's heading that direction. And that's the 3:38:12. It's going like this, northbound, in just a moment. This is the real time. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we're just literally, there's this car driving around right now during this whole time. And they recently released it on... which documentary was that, Lisa? Oh, that's on YouTube? The one that I was in? The Delphi one? I don't know what you guys are referring to. Oh, the CW one. I haven't seen it. Maybe you can send it to me. I mean, I watched it when it was on TV, but I don't really want to see it. But I was the only one that made any sense. That's the scary part about it. 3:38:12 coming up, and that's when I just showed you. It's right here, heading back in this direction. So wherever it was for like 3 minutes after turning here, we don't know. And there's no cameras around here, and law enforcement knows that. So it's heading up here, and then the next one is 3:38:34. A vehicle matching description of vehicle 1 is seen southbound on King Road. And that's at 3:38:34, which is coming right up. Here we go, 38:34, look it up there. And that means they see the vehicle after it comes around like this, it's heading in like this, just like that. 38:37. And then at 3:39:07, you'll see the vehicle come back over here, because that is right back after it drove by here. It comes around like that. I mean, it's amazing how it's just so perfectly aligned, and the pro burgers don't see it. They're just, you know, a bunch of nut jobs over there. So 3:39:07, here it comes. There's the vehicle. And then at 3:39:35, it shines, the vehicle shines up here on this house over here. So after it comes around, the light shines on this building right there. I don't know if I said this one accidentally earlier, but this one right there. And that's at 3:39:35. There it was. It just did that. So after you saw it drive around, it came around, the light sit over there, and then it stops. This time, it stopped for maybe 20 seconds, because at 3:40:24, that's when it's seen driving away. That's only 49 seconds. I don't know what that means. No, we don't have audio from the neighbors. All right, so 3:40:24, that's when the vehicle then drives by here. So obviously it stopped back here for 30 seconds or so, and then it took off. It's way shorter than the first pass, though. So here we are at 3:40:24 seconds. It's right there. And then you're going to see it back here at 3:41:01 driving by. And as you can see, there we have it, 3:41:01. Headlights are seen traveling south on Walenta Drive, behind, heading south. And then we're going to look, the next one is 3:43:46 on Ridge Road and Paradise, does a U-turn. So we got a ways to wait here, but we're not even at, so 3:41:01 just now is when the vehicle was driving like this. So it came around, up and around, and it's going like that. Can you guys follow along and see what I'm doing? And the next one will be 34346. Now, well, I watched it when it was on TV, Laney Carter. Oh, from the Vinnie Politan from the CW that I saw? Oh, I don't know why I'd be on a Vinnie Politan episode on there. I was on the CW for the Delphi case. So anyways, we're about ready to get to 34346. And if you're out there, you guys, if you can please help support the channel. My channel relies on you guys on a nightly basis. And without you, it's hard to even do the shows, okay? Because when you make videos, there's ad revenue. When you do live streams, there's very little. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's almost like a tenth. It's crazy. So basically, you guys are, if you think I do a good job and you want to help support the channel, then that's it. That's all I got. It's the only option that I have available. So we're waiting for 343.46. Another minute something. And that's the vehicle driving back behind there, and then it turns on Ridge Road. So basically it's just kind of slowly driving back here, really slowly, and then it comes around over here, and then, well, thanks Leon Littlejohn. I'm trying to make it I'm trying to get other people excited about helping my channel too. You know, sometimes I feel like I don't know what you call it, like bad, the pressure. I mean, I always feel so much pressure to reach my goals and so forth, and I try to do it, and I wish you know, other people were involved in helping support the channel as well, to take pressure off some of the people that are always so generous. All right, 343.46 up here. Thank you, Leon Littlejohn. 343.46. Here it comes, and now it's going to do the U-turn on Paradise Drive. And then again, then 345.07, it turns around and goes back. So it just did the U-turn right here. It came down, did a U-turn, drove up like this. You know, interestingly, let's take a look at that the timing here. It was 2:01 from almost the exact same spot on, see, northbound on, let's see, 340. I'm just trying to look at the. It was like 2:01 and then 140 back, or is it 139 there? That's when it does the, it's heading southbound, and then a minute 40, 139, and then it does a U-turn. Okay, it's almost the same amount of time then, I guess. I'm just looking at this. What is this time frame here? Northbound and then southbound. That's the time when it just sort of drove and parked somewhere. Oh, that's coming up here in a minute. So 344.52. We're waiting for 345.07 coming up here. Hey, thanks, Von Dazen. It says, you did a great job, great. My main channel. Oh, cool. So right now, the headlights are northbound on Walanta Drive. And see, that one took a minute 21, which is a little longer than the, you know, so sometimes he's driving really slow. Crazy. '07, and that's north and then south. So this is the crazy one where it drives over here, but it obviously does not go back here because that camera would have picked it up. Apparently this camera doesn't pick it up, but there's that missing footage online, so if that same footage was missing in real life, then they wouldn't have it. But the vehicle maybe drove over here and parked for a while, because if you look at it here at 345.07, and then it's heading north on Willanta Drive, and then 34708 south on Willanta Drive. There's nothing in between. No camera sightings. You get it? All right. Thank you, Michelle H. Oh yeah, that's cool, Betsy. I mean, they should have been mentioning them for a long time. I've been making videos. Some videos on this case have gotten a lot of views. You'd think that they would have seen it, but hey, better late than never, I guess. Hey, thank you, Slenderella. Slenderella. So we're waiting for 34708. That's coming right up. And what that's going to mean is after the car went over here and was parked somewhere, it came back this way at 34708, which is happening right now. Now let's see if we hear a loud vehicle behind here. Wow, listen to that. You can hear that vehicle in the background. That's a little too soon, though. We're waiting for it to be back over here. Let's see if we can hear a car. So the next thing it does after this, 347, then it's 348.47. Ridge Road in Paradise does a U-turn. So man, that time it's about a minute 39. I know, it's sort of interesting. It is very consistent timing. Look at that, 139 and 140. So it's behind 1119 driving south, and then it's a minute 39 to get to Paradise Drive, and then look at a minute 40 to get back to driving north behind there. So literally, I mean, really similar speeds, and they're very similar up here too. Like that one's 137 there. This one's 143, it looks like. I don't know if that's the right one. I think it was a different spot. Right there, these two. 139, 140. That's crazy. All right, so we just had at 348.47 coming up. It does Ridge Road in Paradise, does a U-turn again. So that's right now. It does a U-turn right here, comes down, turns around, and goes back up that direction. And then at 350.27, the headlights are seen northbound on Willanta Drive behind. And look at that timing again, you guys. 140. I mean, you're talking, this is, I mean, like incredibly consistent driving speed. 140, and then you'll see it behind. Headlights are seen on northbound on Willanta Drive at 1119 King Road at 350 and 27 seconds. All right, so that's going to be after it came around, drove back this way again. It's going to be right back here at 350 and 27 seconds. Thank you, CR. I think this is a pretty good way to look at this. And I also get a feel of how long this was going on. I mean, just picture this. Like, he's over there circling the house like a shark at this point. So 350, 27 seconds. We got 20 seconds more. And the vehicles are seen on Willanta Drive. So this is another one of those times where the vehicle just disappears because it doesn't show up on any of the cameras. All right? So right then, boom. You know, interestingly, you can hear a vehicle out there, but I don't know if you would be able to hear it on King Road. I'm going to have to like reanalyze this audio again. See if we can hear when it's back behind 1119 King Road. Is that what we're listening to? Because that was right at that exact time. And then at 351.03 coming up, watch right here, right in the middle of all this time, right now Dylan Mortensen creates a new contact in her phone, and she's at 1122 King Road. And then in 26 more seconds, the vehicle can be seen driving south behind. A vehicle can be seen. Let's see if we can hear it. Listen. God, I wonder if that's it. That you can hear that vehicle on 1119 King Road behind there. Okay, and then another vehicle, 2 in a row. So there's one at 42. Listen. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if they have if that's the right audio or not, but right here, see these 2 times? I can't make sense of this. Yeah, 2 times in a row the vehicle goes south within 16 seconds of each other. And what is that? Is that well, actually this is coming up at 3:42:42. So let's see if there's another sound that we hear back there. So 3:52:42. Let's see if we can hear a vehicle, and if so, then maybe we can start saying that sound is actually. Wow, so you can hear that. That's 28 though. $3:54:40 right here. Look at that. You could hear that some audio back there. So I wonder if that's the King Road, the camera. I guess at 1122 King Road films the lights behind 1119 King Road, but could the audio from this camera be picking up that same moment? Maybe the acoustics are just right at that for the audio to shoot back there. All right, then at 3:53:36, headlights are seen heading north again back there. But we don't know where the car went during that time. So you see how that's kind of odd? Like the vehicle is heading south like this, and then all of a sudden it comes back here a few minutes later, or like a minute and a half later or so. And where was it? How come it didn't go down here this time? What did it do? Did it just kind of park over here, do a U-turn, come back? We don't know. So 3:53:36, that was when it went north. So now it's heading back like this. And that's interesting, that sound. So you would think if that camera... Jesus. You guys can hear that, right, in the background? Even though I've turned it down, way down. So 3:53:36, the headlights are seen northbound, and then the vehicle does not appear on camera again until 3:56:24, when the headlights are seen heading south again behind 1119. Well, actually, I think in this case at 3:56:24. God, that's a weird one, isn't it? Because at 3:53:36, it's heading north on Willanta Drive, and then it seems to turn around up here and then go in like this. It doesn't go back around. It comes in to the complex at that point. Because look at that, 3:56:57, then it's back behind 500 Queen Road. So we're waiting for 3:56:24, and now it enters back into the King Road area and the complex, as we call it. Is this making sense? I mean, it's kind of some weird movements sometimes, but it's just kind of driving around, doing all kinds of stuff back here. 3:56:24 is when a vehicle matching the description of vehicle 1 is seen southbound on King Road. However, it went northbound at 3:53:36. So where did it go after that? That's one of the ones that you go, yeah, I don't know. Did it just park on the side of the road? watch. You know, maybe that's exactly what he was doing. Maybe he was parked right over here watching, waiting, and then that time he turns around and goes in like that. And so we're almost there. 3:56:24, the vehicle enters the complex again. So right now, and then 33 seconds later, we'll see the vehicle on the Linda Lane camera back here coming in. So here we go. It's going to be at 3:56:57. You'll see the headlights back there. So the vehicle came in again, came around like that, and right there is where you get the 3:56:57. And you'll see the lights, boom, coming around. 3:56:57. Then at 30 seconds later, that's when the headlights are seen on 1127 King Road, and that's at 3:57:27 right now. So right now the vehicle's coming around going like that, and then at 3:58:23 the vehicle is seen right by 1112 King Road, leaving the area, and that is a 56-second time frame. So up here was a minute 43 where the car waited, which is probably like a minute 20. That time it waited about 20 seconds. This time it probably waited 30 seconds or so. All right, so now we're looking for 3:58:23, and that's when the vehicle is heading westbound on King Road, turning north on King Road, and we determined that they use the time. They see the video, the car do the whole trip, but they use the time as right when you see it passing 1112 King Road. So here's 3:58:23 coming up. What do you mean, where's the house on the map? We've shown it like just wild. All right, 3:58:23 right there. It's heading westbound, and then at 3:59:04 the headlights are seen southbound on Walenta Drive. But keep in mind that right around this time, this is when the DoorDash driver comes in. So at 3:59:04, the headlights are seen southbound on Walenta Drive. It's back here. However, the DoorDash driver, I think, passed Koberger in here somehow. And he pulls in, and then at 3:59:47 or so, that's when I think we hear the key fobs. I mean, it's right here. This is the residence right here. See that? It's right there. Car comes back behind. I mean, I know there's a lot of crap on the screen, but we've shown this literally 1,000 times. I'm trying to figure out why there's people still don't know where the house is on a map. All right, let's go back here. So here we go. We're going to hear something coming up at 3:59:47. DoorDash delivery, I think. So hold on, listen. Right there. Beep, beep, beep. The key fob. I'll actually make that 46. And then Dylan Mortensen stated, I just put that in there, that everybody was home by 4 o'clock, which just happened right there. All right, then at 4 o'clock and 14 seconds, headlights are seen northbound on Walenta Drive. So this time, Koberger drives by here and then turns around immediately and comes back this direction. And then he doesn't go into the complex. He drives this way, over here, like that, and down to the Ridge Road. And right there, did you hear that little beep? That means, I think, that Koberger drove by, saw that there was a car still there, and he took off. And this guy is going to pull out, and he's after him. But Koberger drove by, and now he's going to do the loop again. And he's going to come by Ridge Road camera at 4:01 and let's see, 4:01 and 30 seconds. It goes by Ridge Road, and then 4:01 and 43 seconds, it hits another Ridge Road camera. But right there, boom. Right there was one of them. Well, 40130 is coming up. So it's driving around from the house like this, around, boom, 40130. You're going to see this. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. $401.30 right now, and then 13 seconds later. So the vehicle's spotted coming down, and then 13 seconds later it drives by right here. And that's at 401.43. And then at 404.20, the headlights are seen north on Willanta Drive. So 3 minutes after it passed right here, it drives all the way around, and then it drives right back here again. Thank you, Leon Littlejohn. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so we got to wait now until 4:04 and 20 seconds. Wow, thanks, Cheryl Moran. You guys are so kind. I feel so fortunate. Thank you so much. Look at all the new freaks in here. Make sure to stay channel members. I think when we start doing the trial and everything, I'll probably have like members only stuff. It's hard to find the time because my shows are so long all the time to do a bunch of extra things. But I do 7 days a week. There's a lot of channels they just do like 2 or 3 days a week and then do other things, and it's hard to find that time. I try, but okay. So let's see, where are we at here? We're looking for 4:04:20, and so right now the vehicle's driving really slowly, or somewhat slowly, around from here. He's giving time for that vehicle to take off, I think. Comes around, driving around up here, and then at 4:04:20 it's going to drive by right there. You can see that when I have it right there. These are all these pins are just different camera sightings. I mean, I wonder if it would be easier if I didn't have so much crap on the screen. I don't know. Like if I turned it off, you know. I just think like it's useful to have this stuff. That's the house right there. This is the 1112 King Road house that has a camera that shows the vehicle coming in. All right, here we go. 4:04:20. Here we go. It's coming around. The vehicle's probably about right here right now. Driving, coming around, and then right here, it's filmed by the 1112 King Road camera behind this house, driving the headlights, and then matching the time frame at 4:04:56. The vehicle, matching the description of vehicle 1, travels south, and I think that's on King Road. So we're just about doing that. So it comes in like this, and right when it's about right in here, I think is when they pick that up. So 4:04:56 coming in, then at 4:05:31, the vehicle's behind 500 Queen Road and does a 3-point turn back here. So at 4:05:31, it's coming up. The vehicle comes back here and does a 3-point turn right back there. So I don't know if if I zoom in, you can still see the time here. 4:05:31, right? Boom, there it comes. And then it does a 3-point turn. So it pulls into here, sort of stops for a moment. Stops for a moment, then backs up against the building there. And then heads out. So it's going to back up. And that's definitely the White Elantra. That's Koberger's vehicle. Don't let the lunatics fool you out there. And there it goes, driving out. And let's see, what's the next one? Then 40609, west down King Road. Lights are visible at 1119 King Road, visible. So it's heading down the hill over here. And so that's an interesting spot. So if you look up there, see that? That's where it's coming from. And as it's heading up, when it's on the flat area up there, the headlights probably hit the top of that building. But then when it comes down this hill, the headlights start shifting down on that building. So they know exactly where that car is at any point in time. It's really pretty amazing. You gotta like that. You gotta like that. All right, so 40609. Let's see. It goes west with the headlights on 11, and then it says in 40631, it goes west down and does a U-turn. So it's already done the U-turn at 40631. So that means after it came up down like this, it did a U-turn right back here. Just turned around, came back this way, and went right back behind the buildings there again. And then at 40728, you'll see the lights again. So there you are. Boom, right there, 40728. There's the light. And now this is the final pass here, 40728. And then at 40740, the headlights hit that 1127 building again. So after it comes around like this, the headlights then flash on this building again as it's turning, and this is when it stops for, and I adjusted the way it does the math to skip all these and go to here. So I want you to know that from 407 to 420, it was in there for 12 minutes and 47 seconds is when the vehicle stopped, and then when you see it leaving is 12 minutes and 47 seconds. So at 4:08, I have him parking the vehicle. So it's already parked right now. And then we got to wait 4 minutes. So Kohberger is likely at this point, pulls over. He's starting to, looks around one final time to see if everything looks okay. From outside, and now he's going to be doing some blood spatter mitigation prep. And 4:12 is the next time that we have any activity. That's Xana use TikTok. So we got to wait 4 minutes. And I could show, like, if I was playing the video where he goes through the sliding glass door. I don't know, I'm not doing that on this one. So currently, isn't that crazy when you look at this clock? That's real video. And just off to the left, he drove off over here and around and then parked. The car's parked right as this is ticking away. And he's likely putting out plastic and stuff. I mean, what a psycho. Getting ready to commit the homicides. Yeah, we worked on this for 2 days in here, and now we have it. We can just go over. I'm just going over the key time. That 1 hour between 3:26 and 4:20 and 47 seconds. I might go a little bit further actually through the text messages. Alright, so right now, perhaps he's kind of getting ready to head into the house, I think. So let's just say that at this point, maybe he's... It's hard to get this thing caught up. Once I do, I'll get it to the right spot. I think you got one of your comments removed accidentally there, Leon. So look, we go up here, and we hit pause. So he probably parked right along here somewhere, and then he goes down this hill, and then into the house. So let's just say right now at 4:11 he's heading in there. Oh, do we got a troll in here? Don't you think you all are reading too much into this when in teen drama, no big conspiracy? What are you talking about? Anyways, 412. You're not doing the drug running bullcrap, are you? Get rid of that person quick. All right, just delete him from the channel. That's not like, that's just a crazy victim blaming bullcrap type individual. So, all right, right here at 412. Right here at 412 is when Xana is using TikTok, and he's in the house right now. I think. Yeah, he could have even got in there a little bit. I mean, it's weird because they have it 2 to 4 minutes the homicides could have taken place, and he leaves at 4:17. So that's like, you know, that's just a prediction of how quick it could be. But let's just say it was 5 to 6 minutes. All right, and then in there at, okay, then the next one is going to be 4:17. We don't have the exact time. Yeah, I don't like when people come in and they start calling everybody in the house druggies, and it's just, you're a lunatic, all right? That's just the reality. And you're not welcome here to do that. You can have a different opinion about like the factual elements of the case, but hey, look at that, Leon Littlejohn again. Gifted 5 to Veronica Garcia, Soci, JFK2, Jamie, and a Kath Dub. So inside the house right now, he's killing people. Right now. You know, he's likely upstairs attacking Madison and Kaylee. And you can just see, even look how long this is kind of already is, like he's in the house, right? And you could hear a car driving out there. So there are other vehicles moving around. I think that explains one of the 2 souths in a row. Yeah, we got Leon Littlejohn with a coffee, and also Ted Bundy. Thanks, Ted Bundy. Yeah, you don't hear that often. So look at right now, inside that house, people are being killed, and yet you don't really hear any. You know, like people go, "Why come there's no screaming?" I don't know, but they were killed. You know, see, some people think because they hear somebody screaming at 2:30, they go, "Yeah," that somehow that's when the killings happen. That just makes no sense at all, mathematically or evidence-wise. People scream, at every time there's a party night, people are yelling. It's just the way it is. We know that isn't reality, and because the timeline even has things going on during that time. You know, look at this. Madison calls Jack at 2:52. All these phone calls. If people were being killed in there, if they were first, how are they calling from 2:26 until 2:54 or 2:53 or whatever the hell time it is? Yeah. Madison calls Bethany. Why would Madison call Bethany? All right, we're waiting for 4:17. So look how much time this has already been, you guys. He's in that house stalking, walking around. I mean, it just seems like you wait around for a long time. I totally get why they say 2 to 4 minutes could be the time. I don't know how to read the numbers again tonight. We're having this wild stuff. I think it's just all bogus numbers again. there isn't really 1,099 people watching. So you can see the clock up there, 4:16 and 11 seconds. So he's in the house. Right inside there. In there, and then around the side to Xana's room, which is, well, actually, if I go a little bit further, you can see it. Xana's room is right there, and that camera is right there. That's why they could hear what we're about to see on the next. At 4:17, on that camera, voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking. So I have Kohberger leaving within a minute after that. Okay, I think he left pretty close to right then, but just for the sake of it, we'll say he left at 4:18. Okay, so at 4:18, we're gonna have him leave. Kohberger leaves the residence, and that just says Gray's guess. That's what my guess would be, because I think it's right around the time of the dog barking and the thud, etc. But we don't know if it's 3:47 or not. Excuse me. We don't know if it's 4:17 and 58 seconds. Sometimes they just put the first minute on there. All right. So coming up at 4:18. Right now. Boom. 4:18. Kohberger leaves the residence. Now this part's crazy in here. So next movement is 4:19:07. Next event is 4:19:07. So right now, Dylan Mortensen saw Kohberger leave the residence out the kitchen door. So she's still sitting there going, "Oh man, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" And Bethany's in the house too, and she probably heard stuff going on. You know what I find interesting though is that Bethany called Dylan first, because she's not in the best prime position. So what did she see and hear that made her call Dylan? I think that's something I wish we could get more information about. So here it is at 4:19:07. Right now, Bethany calls Dylan. And guess what? Kohberger is sitting in his car right here still. Not sitting in it yet, but he's taking off his clothing. He's changing. He's right there on that side street. So on this video, it's back here. He's right there. He's right on that street, waiting to drive away. And then coming up in 20 seconds, let's see, 20 seconds, we have Dylan. So Bethany calls Dylan. And then Dylan calls Xana. I mean, it's weird too, because it's just coincidental, but like somehow she calls Dylan. Bethany calls Dylan, and then Dylan calls Xana at 4:20, and then at 4:20 and 28 seconds, Dylan Mortensen calls Bethany Funk for 41 seconds, and Kohberger's car is still out there with him next to it. However, halfway through, so right now that phone call is made. Hello, hello, and they're talking for 41 seconds, but halfway through that phone call, 20 seconds in, that's when Kohberger's car is seen at 4:20 and 47 seconds. His vehicle then drives right there past 1112 King Road like this and heads out. Is that crazy or what? But hey guys, if you're out there, if you can help support the channel, I would appreciate it. My channel relies on you guys. So the vehicle's driving out, and then it really is really going fast, because at 4:21, let's see, at 4:20 and 47 seconds, it's north on King Road. That's that video. I think I'm missing a... Here, I'm going to just pause it really quick to get that added in there so I don't forget where that was. All right, hold on. Let's get the... Is it this one? I think that's it. Okay. So it leaves her at a high rate of speed at 4:20. And then there should be one more after that. There it is, 4:21:05. So that needs to be in right... Wow, that's weird. Right after that. Jeez, look at that. I gotta put this in. That just, you know, I actually know that something's supposed to be there. 4:21:05. And put that here. And this is going to be the 11 going south with 1119. So this one. All right, there we go. There we go. Now we're back on track here. So at 4:21:05, let me just go back slightly. How about right in here? So as the vehicle heads away at 4:20 and 47 seconds, just 13 seconds later, it's back there. I mean, it is flying. Look at this, for example. See this right here where it says 13 seconds? So let's do another one that's just like that. When it goes north on a vehicle seen, let me just figure out which one I need to... North onto King Road. Well, let me just continue doing it. We'll go through we'll try to figure some stuff out later. So at 4:21 and 5 seconds. So at 4:21, Bethany Funk calls Xana. Then at 4:21:05, the headlights are seen southbound on Willanta Drive. Then at 4:21:50, that'll be the next communications. Thanks, D. I wonder what that... Oh yeah, another vehicle comes back here. But the Elantra's driving away. That doesn't stop the Pro Burgers though. Alright, Dylan Mortensen calls Madison Mogan. Right now. And right now, Bethany Funk calls Ethan Chapin. Then right now, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk and says, no one's answering text messages. Then 3 seconds later, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, I'm really confused. And then we're waiting for 4:22:42. So they're texting back and forth. And then coming up here in just a second, at 3:42:42, Dylan Mortensen to Kaylee said, Kaylee. Then 1 second later, Dylan Mortensen to Kaylee, what's going on? And then coming up here in 5 seconds at 4:23, Bethany Funk, outgoing message on Snapchat. That's probably the one to Ethan. See, there's somebody in the parking lot driving away. The pro burgers always say, oh, look, see, there's somebody, and it's just ludicrous. Look at 4:23:15, Bethany Funk to Dylan Mortensen. Yeah, dude, what the F? Thank you, CR. Then 4:23:28, Xana was wearing all black, is what Bethany said. And then 4:23:33, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, I'm freaking out. Then 4:23:42, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, no, it's like a ski mask almost. Then 4:23:48, Bethany Funk to Dylan Mortensen, STFU. 4:23:51, Bethany Funk to Dylan Mortensen, actually. 4:23:52, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, like he had something over his head, a little around his mouth. And then at 4:24, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, Bethany, I'm not kidding, over his overhead a little and mouth, over his head and a little over his mouth. Then at 4:24:07, Bethany to Dylan, so am I. 4:24:11, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk, phone is going to die F. 4:24:14, Bethany Funk to Dylan, come to my room. 4:24:22, Bethany to Dylan Mortensen, run. 4:24:27 to Bethany to Dylan, down here. 4:24:39, Dylan Mortensen calls Ethan Chapin. 4:24:58's the next one. That 4:24:58, Dylan Mortensen to Bethany Funk says, I'm scared. And then at 4:25:16, Bethany Funk to Dylan Mortensen, yeah, like, but it's better than being alone. It's hard to keep all those right at the same time, but they're there. Now there's like almost a 2-minute gap here. 1:55. Yeah, so man, you can see how frantic they were, just texting so rapid fire back and forth, and Koberger is just literally is only left like 4 or 5 minutes prior to that. And by the way, they're in the same room, I think, at this time, right? No, they're not. We figured this out yesterday. So here we come to coming up here in another minute as 4:27:11. So I don't know what they were doing for a 2-minute period here. Why there's no communications or anything, Snapchat, or seems like they'd still just be frantically texting each other. But there's 2 minutes there of just maybe sitting around waiting and listening. Maybe they heard something and wanted to be quiet. What does LOL UG mean? RM Bell. Let's see. Okay, so we got 4:27:11 just about coming up. And at this time, Bethany Funk to Dylan Mortensen. Dylan Mortensen made an outgoing phone call. Then at 4:27:30, I think we know what that phone call was. I think it didn't take whatever the last part was. Maybe we can fill that in. Here, let me pause it and get that. 4:20. This is in the text message one. 4:27:40. Is that right? Oh, there it is. Dylan Mortensen. Let's see. No, it's 4:27:11. Okay, so there's nothing. It just says outgoing call. It doesn't have anything on there. So I guess I had it right. So 427.25 we're at, and then 427.30 Dylan Mortensen outgoing message to Snapchat. Then 427.40 Dylan Mortensen outgoing message to Snapchat, probably each one of the friends trying to get a hold of him. Then 427.47 Dylan Mortensen calls Kaylee. Then the next one is 57 seconds later at 428.44. Waiting on that one. I'm not sure what I did. What did I do that was funny? Alright, anyways, 428.44, Dylan Mortensen calls Xana, coming up here. Right now. Then at 428.50, Dylan runs to Bethany's room and sees Xana laying on the floor in her room as she's heading down the stairs. And her feet are head first. But I guess the time based on what they were saying in the comments. So that's where I'm guessing that is. All right. Then 429, Bethany Funk calls Madison. 430, Bethany Funk calls Madison again. That's coming up. Man, you guys all just jumped right on that when I said, hey, you guys, if you're out there and you have the ability to help support the channel, please consider supporting it. Because you guys are the sole source of the income on the channel. There is no other options on the live streams. The ad revenue is ridiculously crappy on live streams. I think not sure why they do that. Right, so now we're at 429. We got Bethany Funk calls Madison. 430 in 11 seconds. We have Bethany Funk calls Madison again. Then at 4:30, Bethany Funk calls Kaylee. And 4:31, these are probably separated by seconds. And thank you, Leon Littlejohn. But is there anybody else out there? I mean, it's kind of scary because I was thinking if Leon Littlejohn wasn't here tonight, and Cheryl Moran with all of hers, we'd be still at this really, really low number again. And that's why I get nervous about the channel. Alright, 4:31, Bethany Funk calls Kaylee, and now we got to wait till 4:32:57 coming up. And CR in there. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that are helping. It's just we would really, really be struggling the last 3 nights, really. But for some of the larger help. All right, 4:31. Yeah, 4:31. Bethany calls Kaylee. Now we're waiting for 1:57 to get to 4:32:57. Oh yeah? Awesome. I thought you still do a little part-time or something. Congratulations, Leon Littlejohn. Alright, got another 50 seconds or so. It's Xana, not Xania. And what do you mean by too many defensive wounds? How can you have too many defensive wounds? Hey, thanks, CR, for your hard work and dedication to victims and charitable causes. Well, thank you. And you guys are what helped make that happen. You know, you use the ad revenue, the super chats, channel memberships, all that stuff. All right, here we go. We're getting close to 432.57. And thank you for the cat eye donation from CR. So this one is Dylan Mortensen text Kaylee. Please answer. Susan Smith said, so grateful to you, Gray. This gives the victims a voice. Yeah, well, I'm not going to. I mean, if there was anything, I think all of you would do the same thing. If something showed up that literally showed that, it's just not possible because Koberger's the guy. But if there was something that showed up that absolutely showed that he wasn't the guy, I would say, oh my God, that's crazy. He's not the guy. But there hasn't even been a whisper of something else. Okay? I mean, it isn't even close. It's a total blowout. 434, except the lunatic fringe who invent stories to sell to their ravenously wacko viewers. Gray, that's not... I don't want those viewers. Okay, I'd be ashamed. I don't want them. Okay, I mean, great. If you want to watch, awesome. But don't let me know. Okay, 434, Bethany Funk access Snapchat. Okay, now we got 3 more minutes here. Gray, you proved to me I know, you've said that 400 times, Sully. I've said that myself. I've never even... I don't care what other people say. Okay? I don't care what other people say. I just do my own thing. I know how many times he passed the... he came at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One time it's going east and west, but 6. And then you've got... then he comes back. So there's 6 the first 3 passes. And then on the 4th pass, it's really like 2. So he goes in there. So that'd be 7. Turns around. 8. Turns around again. 9. Goes back around and parks, kills them, and at 10 it's leaving. Okay? That's it. That's really simple. There's no reason to count or do anything like that. It's not, it's not rocket science. Rocket science is just, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know why we need to count. Everybody just says there's like 3 passes. All right, so we're making at, we're waiting till 4:37. No, it wasn't OCD the 7 passes. It was him just monitoring and picking his time where he thought it would be most likely to succeed. See, somewhere right now, he's supposed to already be by Blaine, but he's not. So he's doing something with the weapon at this point. I really think he did something in those minutes of missing time. I guess we'll end it at Blaine, okay? So it'll be another 9 minutes after this. All right, so coming up right now, Bethany Funk accessed Instagram. Right at this point. All right, and Koberger is out down here somewhere. He's driving But, he put the knife and sheath, or not sheath, knife and, bloody clothing or whatever, somewhere else, and now he's heading down, and then at 4:48, his phone pings somewhere near Blaine. We don't know exactly. It could be inside of the circle even, because that's only a 3-mile radius, so it could be inside of that circle. So anywhere in there, and interesting, here's Johnson, Washington. His phone pinged over here, and look, that circle there is kind of getting near the edge of that. So is it inside of this circle where, and that's actually a ping, but could it be inside of there where he put that stuff? Alright, so in the meantime, here, check this out. So when the car would go behind 500 Queen Road, and then the headlights are seen on the exterior of 1127. That's a pretty consistent type of thing, right? I mean, so what you'd be talking about is when the car came around right here, and then the timing of the headlights hitting over there. So that would be it driving and the speed that it took to when the headlights hit there. Look at the difference here. So on pass number 1, let's see, yeah, it was 23 seconds. And then pass number 2, it's 28 seconds, so a little slower. Pass number 3 is 30 seconds. And look how fast it is on the third one, 19. I mean, we're talking double, 23 is pretty quick, 28, 30, and then on that last one, 19, man, he was ready to go. He just really went quick around there. So it travels behind 500 Queen Road, and then headlights hit that building literally 19 seconds later. I think that's interesting. To me, anyways. I always feel like sometimes I'm talking to a brick wall. I make these comments and talk about stuff, and then I read the comments, and there isn't one comment related to what I just said. Maybe those are the people that are actually listening, and the ones commenting are just on some other topic somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, well, in the missing time, he probably got rid of his knife and the bloody clothing somewhere. There's also this really long route he could have taken that pretty much brings you out at the right time. Yeah, so right now the vehicle is somewhere and it's driving around, and then he finally turns his phone back on at 4:48. He probably thought, okay, I'm far enough out of town. I can just turn it on now and use my mapping, but apparently he used his VPN when he turned that back on. Yep, Cass, Data Koberger's phone turns on using VPN at 4:48. Still got 8 more minutes for that though. Yeah, he could have dug a hole or something. Yeah, we've thought of that. Let's see, I think the long route you showed us is where he dumped his clothes. Yeah, this other one over here. Like he could have taken this route all the way around like that and then came out over here. And that pretty much puts you there. I think I made a map of that. Hold on. Oh wait, no, that was it. 27. One of these guys. Is it that one? Yeah, that's the one. So look how crazy this is, you guys. You're gonna be pretty like, oh my god, that's nuts. So the route that I never did the timing of it, but this route right here. So he would actually drive by the same place where Linda Lane, not Linda Lane, Indian Hills Drive was. But then come down here and then go straight to the end and then down to the right, and then this way crazy route way out here in the middle of nowhere. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Moran. And look at that. Yep, that's right. She said, thank you, freaks, for your support. Yes. A lot of people supported the channel. You know, we've got, especially, Leon Littlejohn and Cheryl Moran. But you guys, everybody's helping out. I hope everybody, nobody's required to do anything here. I'm just telling you, if you can, and I'm telling you what the channel needs, and if you can, I would appreciate your support. But thank you so much. Very cool. Very cool. Man, so generous. All right, so see this route here? This is a route that I saw a long time ago, or I think somebody else was talking to me about it, like way at the beginning of the case. And then maybe, yeah, there's some guy named Richard who was thinking, I think that might be, he was thinking maybe over in this area. I mean, I don't know, right? But anyways, it drives around like this, and then it comes out to here. And look at this is Highway 95. Check it out. You take a left, and then boom, you start going on the route that crosses over that law enforcement has. But watch this. Watch this when I tell you. So what time, everybody else, let's do the math here. What time did the vehicle leave the residence? What time did it head away at a high rate of speed? Type it in. What time was it heading away at a high rate of speed? Yeah, it's 4:20, but it's 4:20 and 47 seconds. Now watch this. This is that route, right from that spot. So it's at the residence, and this is the way it gets out. Conestoga to Palouse River Drive, and then all the way around like this. And look how much time that takes. 28 minutes. So what time would that be when it came out and he turns his phone on right here? The only problem is it'd be 4:48, right? And that's the time it pings near Blaine. Now, I guess, here's Blaine, and the 3-mile radius is right there, but, it could still ping off of that. Pretty interesting, right, though? It takes exactly that amount of time. And then even some other ones that kind of cut across over here. What's RM Bell's always laughing at, man? Jeez. Anyways, we've got Sazef. Thank you for everything you do. Gray, hello, freaks. Who said something about a cemetery? Oh, over here. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the... What? Why do you people look at shit like that and even comment? It's just crazy. No, it's just, you turn it on. Cemetery. What if it was a swimming pool? That makes sense. Thank you, Leon Littlejohn. Oh, you laughing at your addition? Yeah. Yeah, 420 plus 28 isn't 453 or something. Yeah. Who knows, though? Maybe he did stop at the cemetery, huh? I think I have another one over here. Let's see. Another map. I made a bunch of them. So this is a different route. Yeah, part of it's the same, and it's 29 minutes, so very close. But look at where this one comes out. So this one came out, let's see, it's not there. Comes out right over here. I think it comes out right there. There you go. So it comes out right there. Now look at, that's right in where the cell tower is in Blaine. So he comes around and does that route. Look at that one. So it goes way out here and then comes in, and then he turns his phone on when he's over here. And that way his phone won't be on any cameras that make sense. Just like his attorneys say, they actually say, hey, how come his vehicle isn't spotted at Mundy's Machine and Welding or this Wansakari Construction? They say that. You know, so why do they say that? Because it's likely there's no vehicle driving by at that time, or that matches it. So there's a million other ways to get down here. And I think Koberger was intentionally doing confusing routes. Let's see. So bummed, stumbled upon your channel about a month ago and got laid off April 6th, hoping have a job by the time the trial comes around. I don't want to miss out. Oh, you don't have to have any money to watch the coverage. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm not sure. But good luck. I hope you find something. I think that last one's pretty interesting because it puts you, if he just drives like 2 miles an hour over the speed limit, he's going to be right here at 448. Except there's no time to get out of your car and then ditch something. So, I don't know. I think he went somewhere or planned something where it took a few minutes to get rid of it, and then he got back in his car and drove away, and we just don't know where that is. I think he avoided, heading straight down here. Doesn't this make a hell of a lot of sense, you guys? That he's on Palouse River Drive and does not take a right through this heavily industrial area right after committing the homicides, and that he drove maybe this direction down an isolated road and just drove in these really crazy back roads all the way. Look at, there's not a soul out here, and then around and around and around, and then eventually, he could have even cut across at different points, like right there, goes through Blaine and makes his way back to Highway 95 right there. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you for all your hard work, Gray from Idaho, and been following the case since day one. Yeah, well, we've been following it since day one too. Maybe day two. I think it wasn't even a national story till like 2 days in, where anybody even heard about it. Does the cell phone show nothing at all if it's off? Right. Yeah, if you turn off your phone, it's not sending signals. People like to claim that all the time, but that just isn't what happens. There's no power in your phone, so it's not going to be sending anything. How would he... Oh, wait. By the way, the clock's past it, but he made it to Blaine right... Let's go back a little bit. Right in here. So there you go. He drove his phone pinged near Blaine at 448. And that other route that we just showed comes right down here, but then cuts across, and I think just goes basically like this through Blaine and then out to Highway 95, takes a left, then comes down here, and then I think he needed to turn his phone on to get his GPS working on the VPN, and then he came down here, and then that's how he knew how to get through this area. I mean, it's the craziest route you've ever seen. It's kind of cool looking, but maybe I can find that. What is the name of my video that I have that on? Leon Littlejohn again. Thank you. Come on, man. Save some for the retirement. I feel lucky, but no, I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. I think it was called Route, wasn't it? Like, oh, there it is. Koberger's Creepy Route Home. See that? Look at this. So I did this back in, let's see when. This was January 2nd, 2024. And this is, I used some of my same 360 degree video. So here is driving down the highway, but that was actually at 448. And so I had to just switch it over to 448. And then the 448, if you just look at the map, I'll show you. About right here, all the way around until they keep driving around. I'm skipping it forward. Come on, you guys. Use and south of I've been saying the same thing for a long time. And there's a cell tower right in this location down here. And you'll see what time it is right now. This is me driving directly from the house. I mean, hell, let's just go back to here. It'll be kind of interesting. So here I am. This is exact. Look at this crazy. I didn't even think about it, but look at how my headlights are lighting up. 1119 King Road right there. 1122 King Road and just past 111. This is exactly. And right now I'm on the 1112 King Road camera, turning right, just like it said. This whole movement here will be caught on the camera. Oh, that's cool. Hey, let's go back. Let's see what my timing is compared to the timeline. All right. So this is Koberger. This is when he's parked outside the house, as a matter of fact. Look at this. Okay, right there. The house is to the left. Puts the line right on. And here's him leaving the street where it's supposed to be. Here we go. Boom. So right there, this is picking up right where that 360 degree video left off. But just that. Wait, let me see. Is that like? Doesn't look like it's very clear. Oh wow. Here we go. I just made it 1080p. All right, so night, and it headed down. Okay, so right here, you guys, at 4:20 and 22 seconds. Let's see what my the time there is. This is before we had these specific times. 4:20 and 47 seconds. So I'm at 4:20 and 22, pretty close. But let's pretend it's 47 seconds. And in 13, let's use the regular route though, not when he's not speeding away. So at 4:20 and 47 seconds, let's see these other ones. Headlights shine on the upper 1127 westbound on Queen Road. Headlights are, let's see, westbound on Queen Road, turns north. Okay, that one right there. And then headlights are seen driving. There it is right there. So it should be about 41 seconds before my vehicle is seen behind 1119 King Road. And I pretty much know where that is. So let's see what happens in the video. All right, let's go back a little bit. We'll start that street again. Where it's supposed to be. Hey, welcome, CC. So right there, this is picking up right where that 360 degree video left off, but just at night, and it headed down. So it's right away from here is where that is. So 4:20:22. So if it matches the other ones, it should be 4:21. Let's see, what did we come up with? 41 seconds. So it should be 4:21:03. 4:21:03. Let's see where we're at. So on my video, if we want to, we're looking for the similar time, 4:21:03. 1122 King Road and just past. This is just the normal 1112 route King when Road he's not where speeding there's a away. camera, and this whole movement here will be caught on the camera. And then it's heading out to Taylor Avenue. See how I told you that? All this movement will be caught on camera. I knew this, all of this stuff. You can see Sigma Chi right there. It's just right across the street. That's Banfield just off to your right. So let's see. And now we're heading up, still on Taylor Avenue, and then right now it switches over to Willanta Drive, and it heads up. And this is basically, hold on, let me see what the map looks like. So it's driving, and so after it turns, it goes straight, and then just before it's about to turn left, that's when the this house can see the lights on right through there. So let's see. I might be, maybe I am speeding here. No, that's about right here then. The same. So I have it. I'm almost the speed that Koberger is going when he's doing it. Right? So that's 28 seconds. What does he have on his? Let me just go back a little bit more. Right where that 360-degree video left off, but just at night. 22. That's down, right. Away now is where it's on. It starts the timer. 1122 King Road and just past 1112 King Road, where there's a camera, and this whole movement here will be caught on camera. Hey, thank you. And then it's heading out to Taylor Avenue, and you can see Sigma Chi right there. It's just right across the street. That's Banfield. Welcome just off from the UK. Right. And now we're heading up, still on Taylor Avenue, and then here's the straightaway. Now it switches over to Willanta Drive, and then right here. 420.49, so that would be 27 seconds. Now, I'm going pretty quick. Let's see what they have for the final one. So it's right, should be right below. It would be right here. So it would be 427.47. And then, man, so that's crazy. 13, he did it in, I did it in 27 seconds, but when he did that drive from 420.47 and then 421.05, so you're talking about 18 seconds. I mean, he was, when they say high rate of speed, they're not kidding. I mean, he was absolutely hauling out of there. I mean, I just did that in 28 seconds, and the normal time was like 41 there, 37, 35. So look at the first time around, it took 35 seconds to go from when the camera sees it to where it's behind 1119. This time it's 37 seconds. That one it's 41 seconds. And then this one is 13 seconds. I mean, don't you find that incredible? 13 seconds north on King Road. And then I think I actually be 77. Let me see some. 47, and then maybe I need to. I think it's more than that. I think it's. I think I need to change that time because this Xana's in here. Let me make that 78. So that would be 79. It should be 18 seconds. Hold on. There you go. So that's what it really should be right there, because there's this Bethany's in between, and it calculates like that. But it should have calculated from here, from right here at 420.47 to 421.05. So that's 18 seconds. And so again, that's still 18, 41, 37. 35, and I just did it in 28 seconds. So think about how fast he was going. So let's just watch my speed again and see what, and then we'll get out of here. And then it's heading out to Taylor Avenue, and you can see Sigma Chi right there. It's just right across the street. If Koberger's innocent, where is his sheath? And now his knife, his mask. Still on Taylor. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the sheath they found, but they all should be. Well, he should have them. I get what you're saying. Like he should be able to say, "No, look, here's the sheath. Here's the." That's why he was trying to buy another one, so he could say, "No, I've still got the one that I bought." Except he tried to use Amazon again. Why wouldn't Koberger drive out to just some random shop somewhere with some cash and buy it? You know? Thank you, Leon Littlejohn, again. Avenue, and then right now it switches over. So I'm going pretty quick, you guys. Think how fast Koberger was going. Heads up. To do this 10 seconds quicker than I did. This is basically the same route that he would use to do the loops each time he passed. Right. So here we go. This is how you get out of here, though. Watch. You tell me if you would have to be there 1,000 times. I mean, not 1,000, but you'd have to drive this like 5-6 times before you. And I had to do it. When I went there, the first 5 or 6 times I drove around, I kept getting lost. I stopped. And then I could just do it with my eyes closed almost. I mean, it was like a really simple thing to do. And soon he takes a right. Now this is one of the places I'm not sure if he, on each of the passes, he turned right coming up here in a moment. Right. Or he continued to go straight. He continued to go straight. Each one of them works. So if you kept going left right there. That goes to Ridge Road. That would work. Right. This is the other one. Right here, and then you take a left on this next street right here. So look, what I'm talking about right now is right there. I'll show you exactly where it is. Hold on a second. It's pretty interesting. So watch this. You're back here. And so just a minute ago, I said, yeah, if you could turn left right there. And then I actually turned right on the video. But look, if you turn left right there, that takes you right to the same place. See that? So when you're taking a left right there, it takes you right by that Ridge Road thing. So I always thought he could have either gone this way or that way, because I thought he would do loops like this, that he would come around and then drive around. We always thought that. But this new information, he doesn't leave back here. He just kind of comes around and then comes back around again. You see that? Does that make sense? I want to make sure you guys see where I'm at on the video. That left right there, let me go back up a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to just drive a little bit. Each one of them works. So if you turn left right there, right here, let me show you where that is. That's right here. I'm just like this. Okay, in that video. See, there's that little street. The sign, as a matter of fact, if I go down to Street View here, and that sign right there is that sign, and there should be a fire hydrant, didn't look, and there it is. See? Boom. So the fire hydrant, and you're about ready. I'm about to go that direction. His route, though, he went that way just about every single time. Well, he did that every single time, but one time he came back out right there and came up like this. So it was pretty interesting. So if you went down this direction, on one of his loops, just one time, he came out right here. Just like that, he came out. Normally he just did a U-turn over there. But one time he came out like this. So now that you see that, that's where we're at in this. See, I'm going to take a right. That would work. And if you go right, and then just in a moment, we'll see that same road that I was just pointing off to your left. This next street right here, it would go. But this is how he left right here. Had you taken the left just prior to that, would have gone. And now we're heading to Conestoga. And this is Conestoga. Right when he gets on Conestoga, he stays on Conestoga. It's really simple. The entire time. Now you see over in the upper right-hand corner, I have a map where I have a dot, and I just kind of move it to various places just so you can get a general idea of where we are at all times. So we're on Conestoga now, and in a minute here. Oh, that one actually animated. That was pretty interesting. I like that. Yeah. So Conestoga, I'm driving like this, and then around. Staying on Conestoga. In
See,
a moment here, it just sort of
curves around.
veer off a little bit.
See, there it is up here.
And a curve around, and then eventually we go straight down and make our way to Palouse River Drive.
Well, thanks, Leon Littlejohn. Yeah.
And I can just tell
I have put a lot of
being
work
there
in
multiple times. The first time I was there, I was driving around at night, and I was absolutely lost back in here. But after 3 or 4 times going around, I absolutely figured it out, and now I can go there and know exactly where I'm going each and every time. And I think that's exactly what Brian Koberger was doing on those 12 trips when he went out there. I think he would go out there, practice what he was going to go do.
I should re-upload
got to
this
know the
video
area
here.
really well.
This one's
and
like
easily was able to find his way out of here.
it's pretty good.
Each of the passes I attempted to do early on, I got lost.
Or if anybody watched
Because you
it,
get stuck in little cul-de-sacs.
sadly.
And you have to have your map out, and you have to stop and look. And then even when I was leaving to go on to Conestoga, first it was hard to find Conestoga, and then Conestoga has all these streets that go off of it, so you don't really know if it's supposed to turn or not. But after you've done it a couple times, you know exactly how to get from 1122 King Road to Palouse River Drive using Conestoga. Law enforcement believes that that's the route he took because he doesn't show up on the same surveillance cameras at various homes that he would have showed up on had he gone out a different way.
So he's out on Palouse River Drive.
Right now we're about to get to Highway 95. Now if you look at the clock up there, it's almost, now it's 4:24 and 14 seconds. So it only really takes 4 minutes and 20 seconds just driving at a normal rate of speed to get to Highway 95 from that house. And I'm just driving at a normal speed here. I'm not speeding. I'm not going fast. Yes, I got the speeding ticket, going 36 and a 25. I'm sorry for those out there that really think that that's a huge issue in the world. But I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, everybody. Apparently on one channel,
Man, I'm pretty funny, you
they
know.
said that the cops should have shot me because I drove that fast. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Anyway, so right now we're on Highway 95, and it's 4:25. And
I like that
again,
whistle
on this
you got.
map, I move the red dot to various locations every so often, just to show you where we're at on the map. And I'll try to call out various areas when we get by them. Now this is, I think, the long straightaway at the beginning. That you can see on the map there, right to about.
There's not one piece of evidence against Brian Koberger. I thought you were going to be smart and say there's not one piece of exculpatory evidence against him.
And the only reason
People who think that there's no evidence against him are factual lunatics.
And change the contrast a little bit, so
like
you can make
literally
out
stupid
the
people.
street. You could barely even see the streets. You could only see the lights. It was so dark.
Is there anything else I can say about that, you
And
guys?
so right now we're just heading down the long Highway 95.
See, look at how I'm not even driving fast down this
over
highway,
there,
right, you
switch
guys?
to
I mean, look at this. Just
daylight video, and you'll
just
be able to
slow
see
as
the entire
hell.
route that Koberger took when he headed west.
and look at the
across,
time, 4:26.
cut across over to 195. He didn't want to
14
be in
now.
The other larger towns in the area that likely had cameras, and I didn't see one car when I made this pass, as you might want to call it.
What's weird is I could actually put like
95
the
to
text
195,
messages
there
on the
was one
screen
vehicle that entire time.
of
So I would
them
imagine
communicating
that
while this is
before,
driving. As he's
you know,
pulling away, I think
4:30
that'd
in
be
the
kind of
morning or
interesting.
so, 4:35, you aren't going to see anybody. Absolutely, and it would be pitch black because there aren't even these type of lights that you're seeing here. Other vehicles, street signs that kind of light up and so forth. There is nothing out
Well, yeah, but put a little LOL
if
at
you
the
didn't
end.
have your headlights on,
Guts,
you wouldn't be
guts.
able to
There's
see
no way
to
in hell
20
anybody
feet,
would know that you were.
especially if it was
You
cloudy
didn't even
and
put
there's no
quotes or
moonlight.
anything. You just literally made the comment. That doesn't work.
So we're just heading down right now. You can see up above where we are on the map.
Oh, it's kind of interesting that his dad came back. It's like Koberger wanted him to come back.
And when we get to around
So it's not a single person
432,
driving.
That's when I literally have to skip it over to 448. Is it 4?
This is what it looks like out there. Look how dark this is.
I'm getting right close to just south of Blaine, where I think the ping happened.
Well, I'm just giving you some
But
advice.
that was actually at 4:48. And so I had to just switch it over to 4:48. And then the timing from 4:48, if you just look at the map, I'll show you, from 4:48 about right here, all the way around until he got to Johnson Avenue, where his vehicle was spotted at 5:25. The timing is perfect. You know, an average of 45 miles an hour. And there absolutely is 13 to 16 minutes of missing time. For example, if the 4:48 ping was earlier on the map, let's say 4:48 was a little bit south or north of Blaine, then there might even be some more missing time. So we have absolutely missing time. Now, is that where he threw away his the bloody knife and the bloody clothing? Maybe temporarily put it somewhere. Perhaps on one of his other trips he dug a hole somewhere at night, late at night. He digs a hole out there, gets it ready, and I'd love to know when the last time he was there prior to the murders. Was he there just a week before, a few days? That would be very interesting information. And when I say the house, in the area. He was in the area of 1122 King Road using the same resource.
This is if he's on Highway 95. I don't know if he's on Highway 95. If he's not on those two cameras, then he didn't take the early part of Highway 95.
Driving down the highway here. I hope you guys don't mind, like, when I'm doing the call-in shows, and I have somebody that calls in, and the explanation they give for something is extremely unlikely and almost to the point of
I'm being
absurdity.
there you go.
I have a hard time just kind of letting it be. Like I can't just go, oh wow, that's fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, that makes sense. I mean, every time I listen to people try to explain away certain things, the reasoning used is just...
that hasn't changed?
It doesn't make sense.
You guys?
I really...
Hasn't changed in a year and something?
I mean, if it's something hard, like... I mean, for example... we had the nice lady, Ginger, call up, and she was talking about the... how the car drove around. It could have been a date, somebody dropping off a date. And then I said, no, but it was the same vehicle all 4 times, as the probable cause says. It was a
I bet he did
Elantra
too,
making 4 loops. It did 3 initial passes and then finished a 4th, but aborted it in the middle of the 4th, turned around, and then came back and then completed it. And the explanation was, yeah, sometimes people do that on dates, they keep driving around. Come on, you guys. Use common sense, logic, and reason. Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's something you should consider and really dive into it. We all think that maybe, aliens could have done it from, the star system, Zeta Minor out there. Maybe they, if they evolved 2 million years ago to develop flight and had 2 million years of time, they could have developed propulsion techniques that allow them to visit our planet, and they definitely could have be there. So if you believe in life on other planets, then it's possible that aliens did this, right? So let's spend the next 6 months discussing that. Okay, so just in a minute
he said
here,
sarcastically.
we're south of Blaine, just a little bit.
So look at the clock in a second here. Look at the clock up there.
Blaine.
See the clock?
And there's a cell tower right in this location down here. And you'll see here in a minute, look at the clock. It says 4:32, and then I think in 20, 30 seconds or so, you'll see it just shift to 4:48. Because that's the time it pinged over there, and I can't account for the 16 minutes of missing time. Now, the conspiracy people will say something like, well, that's just a different vehicle, Gray. That's just a different vehicle. And yet, it's Koberger's phone that pings in the area. So obviously he's in his white Elantra, missing the front license plate. That was just in...
Man, I'm pretty consistent.
Moscow, Idaho, you know. Driving around. He even admits it. There it is. So at 4:48, boom. I switched it over to 4:48 right when it was 3:32. So the actual driving time, I didn't stop the driving time. I'm still driving a normal speed here. So that means that there are missing minutes. 16, I'd say 13 to 16 minutes. Could even be a little bit more of missing time on the route back prior to getting to the Blaine ping. Okay, the Blaine ping is when basically you start the clock again. So there's something missing. He went somewhere. When is this? This is January 2nd, 2024. So 15 months ago I made this one. Probably a lot of people watching in here has never seen this. Prior to reaching Blaine, I would say between Highway 95 start, just off of Palouse River Drive, and the ping in Blaine, there's 16 minutes of missing time. Where is the bloody knife? And where are the bloody clothing? Is it possible, though, that he buried those items and then went back later in that afternoon when we know his phone pinged at 5:32 to 5:36 near Johnson, Washington? Is it possible and somewhere during that? Hey, by the way, thanks everybody for all your generosity. Had a couple, we're at the goal, so I'm going to donate. Forgot to do my membership gifting of 5 once we reach the goals. Actually, way over the goal. But here you go. Right there. Okay, there you go. That pinging moment that he was recovering those items. Yeah, I mean, see, stuff like that's possible, right? And then it's like, well, shit. Where would he have the bloody knife and the bloody clothing now? I think he actually wore gloves too. So, thanks, M10. M10. As you can see, we're making our way around, and we'll be getting to the cutoff area pretty soon. I do switch over to daylight prior to.
Yeah, so you get to see this in daylight too.
That. So right now it's 4:50 a.m. And I'm sorry that the clock up there is cut off slightly, but you should be able to see it. It's too close to the top of the 5 and the 0 and the 1 and the 4. And the seconds, so 4 minutes, 50, 19 seconds now. But I think you can still read it. Come on, Leon, Little John. Anyways, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And also keep in mind that when we're driving across, there's a couple times where I took the wrong turn. Again, see, it's something that you have to have a map on, a mapping program, to really know what you're doing, or have driven this route multiple times. And so I got lost 3 times. I took the wrong turn, and then I turn around and come back, and then I turn on the right road, so I don't have the smooth transition onto the turn.
Right.
And those are the times where I use an arrow. So when we start doing this, we switch over to daylight in the exact same spot. So it's kind of cool. I mean, I literally found the exact spot and then shifted it over. You can even see that sign, I think. But let's see. Yeah, so when I'm driving into the lightness across this crazy area over here, sometimes I blew past something, so I have to turn around and then go the other direction, and I just edit out the part where I have to turn around, and then you can see it. So, okay, so I use an arrow to say, okay, this is where I was supposed to go, and then I'm right there on the road again. So I edited it where, now let me go back. I want to see what you're doing, or have driven this route multiple times. And so I got lost 3 times. I took the wrong turn, and then I turn around and come back, and then I turn on the right road. So I don't have the smooth transition onto the turn, and those are the times where I use an arrow. Okay, so I use an arrow to say, okay, this is where I was supposed to go, and then I'm right there on the road.
I made the wrong turn.
So I edited it where after I came back, turned around, and made the right turn.
I turned in the wrong spot like 3 times, even on this highway, so I had to pull back out, drive again.
I edit those together, and those arrows will represent where those times happen. So as you can see, it's totally light out now.
So you have to do this. That's why I needed his map. You would absolutely need to turn on your map.
Turning right.
This might be one of the ones where
not too long from now.
Might not be the right place. I don't know.
Let's see.
No, so you had to go back out on the freeway. That was the wrong one.
Yeah, but I at the time I wasn't sure which road it was, so I slowed down on a few different ones.
See that? Like you absolutely need to have been there before or have your mapping program on. Well, you don't need to be. The map's just kind of showing you generally where I am. You don't have to be looking at it. I don't have it moving right with the camera. It's just sort of every once in a while I put it where you're at.
Should be just around this corner.
But yeah, the map shows you generally where we're at on the.
And it's going to be I think it's Borgen Road that I'll be turning right on. And this is where law enforcement has him turning. So again, that wasn't the right one.
Yeah, at least I pulled back out.
Making sure that I was going to be able
to
see that it's hard. Slow down and look. Our mapping program, I think at the time, wasn't quite synced up correctly.
I bet he hasn't done this too many times. He might have done it those same nights, and then, you know. But I don't know if he would have. He's trying to trick law enforcement on this night. Those other nights, he didn't think, he wasn't committing a crime, so he wasn't thinking, ooh, I better figure out. So he may have had it written down where he was going to go, and he
I think it's right across the street.
Put it into his map once he got over here. I think it's coming up here. Is this it?
And yes.
Alright, so now I'm right at that corner. I should be right here.
Or Borgen.
Right down. There it is. Boom. Okay. See, look what this looks like, you guys.
It's just dirt.
I think it's better to watch it in the day, too.
Yeah, there isn't going to be anybody out here at 4:30 in the morning.
It's kind of pretty, actually. It's neat looking with the rolling hills. And
5 o'clock. Nobody's moving around. It's possible if it was a little bit later, might be a farmer doing something, but at the same time, it wasn't really farming season. It was winter, or late fall, I guess. As you can see, I'm still plotting it out down below. You'll see here in a minute it'll update, and the red dot will be further west. And I'm going to try to follow this along on the map here, just to point out various things.
Well, he was just it's not really I mean, just driving this is totally different than driving 3,000 miles across the country. They were shifting, so it's not really that great of a point.
Edited out the part where I stopped and then kept driving.
All right, here we go. Just driving. Look at this.
And soon we'll get to.
I mean, this is a route you would pick if you're a killer, right? There isn't a damn camera to be seen.
We're not turning onto that. We're just going to drive by it.
Look at this.
It's actually really pretty out there. That's one thing I would say. It's very pretty.
Don't you guys think this is kind of pretty, though?
And I might upload a version where there's no map on the right and a clock, where you can just watch.
Come on, Mike.
Do what you want with it.
And this is only a 50-minute drive. Of course, you would need.
It's actually pretty.
Somebody, you'd like somebody with you to drive 3,000 miles.
It's just kind of creepy knowing that this is the route that law enforcement believes.
The roads where I grew up.
Brian Kohberger took.
It's hard to even picture these. This is out there, but it is. It's really cool. Be great to fly that drone that I have with the goggles. Oh man, how amazing! That'd be so incredible.
At some point here, where you take the left one. I mean, it's a really idyllic sort of
look out here. I mean, look at that farm over there. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, look at that
Probably
off to the
take-
left there.
just
Looks
spend
like
all
something
day
out of a
taking photographs
postcard,
of
right?
that place.
So a minute here, it should take a hard
I
left,
think we made that turn right around
I think.
451-ish or something like that.
So I think, yeah, I think
So
this is
here's the
going to
Y.
hard left.
We're
Yeah.
gonna Take a left.
And then it's going to make a really hard right going back more than 90 degrees in just a second. So it's going to go straight
4:56 in the morning.
here.
See, I'm just driving at a pretty mellow pace here, and you really can't drive fast here because the ground is, you know, it's dirt and it's kind of.
I'd like to know if his vehicle, well, they didn't see it. They didn't find it. I bet his vehicle was totally dirty.
into these ditches.
Mine was
So
completely
you just kinda
covered with dirt after
have to
this.
maintain, 45 miles an hour.
God, that would have been so interesting to see if anybody saw his car like the next day and said, "Oh my God, it was just covered with dirt."
45.
This is how
Maybe
you
a
do
little
it.
slower at times.
That'd be an interesting witness thing if they find that. We haven't heard that yet, but
And then soon we sort of hit the bottom. If you look on the map, it sort of has this point where it goes down.
yeah, we already did that. I didn't catch it though. He just did that, and then I think this is going to go a little bit to the right and then a little bit to the
I
left.
mean, again, it's absolutely beautiful out there. And I think we're probably at the bottom of that point now, and then turn. Yeah, it does look like that. So now we're turning around.
Maybe that is.
We're going to go straight up. Should be straight.
Maybe that was that
Just
part.
a second.
Hmm.
There you go. In a minute, the red dot will update again.
So it should take a left coming up here. But this is all in pitch black. There is no light whatsoever, but I think that'd
And
be
I
sort
think
of
when you're
boring, I
watching this,
guess.
you should probably realize why Brian Koberger chose this route. He chose it because there are no vehicles out here. Now, here's the thing. This portion here isn't in dispute. This is where Brian Koberger, his phone pinged. This is where law enforcement believes he drove.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit more in dispute because this is where the interpretation of the cast data that, I don't know if it was the FBI agent or the detective determined that the vehicle was driving because he was probably pinging north of the towers.
Drove. Now, I guess you could argue that maybe he took a different route on the way back. This is just what's in the probable cause document. However, it's based on Brian Koberger's phone ping. Now, if you're going to argue that somebody stole his phone,
That's
and
dirt,
drove
like
back,
I
well, then
said.
we have nothing to discuss. But if you're going
In the video.
to admit, which Brian Koberger seems to do, that he was driving around late at night,
And I just explained how
generally in the
my car was completely covered with dirt after I did this. I had to go get it washed.
area, I think, because he wouldn't even be admitting that at all, except for he knows that law enforcement has a way to verify it's his vehicle at certain points, so wants to say, yes, I'm being honest, I was just driving around. Okay, so his phone is pinging in these areas right here, and he's driving around. So, where is he? He's in the middle of nowhere. And the thing is, he chose this route because he wanted to avoid being seen. And what a great route it is for not wanting to be seen or being seen at all. Doesn't look like my red dot is updated in a while, but it will at some point here.
Yeah, I was pretty bad about that red dot. I got this thing massaging my neck right now, so.
And I believe this is Thorn Creek Road we're about to get to here.
I think it'd be awesome to live out in a place like this. As long as you had quick access to get somewhere
There it
else.
is.
Now this might be one of the places.
Yeah, see, I turned right.
This is one of the places where I started to turn right, and I did go right.
So I just turned left and came back
left, and I picked it up right after I took a left right there.
Yeah, see what I did.
So I drove by it, and as I was driving by that same intersection, I spliced that back in. So I took a left, and I make all the errors in a short amount of time because there's these roads all over.
Well, this one's paved here.
I should have realized that I wasn't supposed to turn.
So I was supposed to turn right.
But I was supposed
there,
to turn right.
and then I just came back,
or I
and
was
then I just did it.
There, but I should have realized that.
So I turned around, and then I drove it, and then I spliced that back in. So I should have turned right there, and then
right there I was supposed to turn right, but I continued forward, so I just came back, turned in, and then edited that back together. So this is what it looks like on that route there. Now the conspiracy theorists will go, oh, you're editing it to make it look like he's more rural. No, okay, I'm not one of those types of people. All right, I literally put out the factual information. So this route is the route.
Man, I've been saying the same thing for years.
Keep the time consistent up there. It's 5.
It's like a robot.
In the morning, 5:01 and 34 seconds. But again, just look at, there isn't a soul. Very rarely do you drive by a house, and when you do, the house is a long ways away.
Well, they got these new drones, M10, that you fly like little individual drones.
Almost 5:02 now. Yeah, I think pretty soon we go through a little town, or I wouldn't call it a town, just a farm with homes on both sides of the road. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Coming up, and we'll be going on to Bauer Road, B-A-U-E-R Road. Through here. I think this is another place where I think I turned right there, but in this case I can edit it where it went right there. You can see the same.
I might be going back out there again.
So I took a right,
not too long
back,
from now.
and then took another right to get onto this.
Of course, it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look, but
so here we go.
It's good just to get.
I'm just going to keep going forward here. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to turn there, but had some navigating help there, and we just kept on going. If anybody knows an app out there, let me know where you can literally plot out the route you want to take. You know, those mapping programs always try to get you somewhere the fastest. I want to do one. I want to have an app where I can just say I want to go
coordinates.
Here, I want to go there next,
it finds the road.
There next, and I want to go there next, and then hit go, and then it starts telling you which direction to go to get onto that exact route that you want to go. Because you don't want to have to, if you're driving in the middle of nowhere, you'd have to have cell phone connection again to say, now get me to the corner of Johnson and Washington Street or something, right? You just want to have it all in there already so that the satellites just keep you on the right
I couldn't do it on the one I got.
I don't know. I haven't been able to find
I want to put
yet.
in
If somebody
waypoints,
knows that
is what I'm
app, let me
saying.
know in the comments section. But also let me know what you think about this. I mean, doesn't it seem really obvious that whoever took this route, I believe it's Brian Koberger, because it's his phone that's doing
Yeah, maybe
this.
it's
now,
easier.
You might think it's a carrier pigeon flying above a white Elantra.
No, I don't just guess like the rest of you, really. I know people like you guess all the time, but I use the facts to put out the information. This route that I'm taking right now, Clown, is exactly the same route that they have in the probable cause document. That's why I'm putting it in here. All right, Clown? All right, thanks.
I don't know, but you know, you'd have to believe the carrier pigeon
I don't
was
guess like
actually
the
holding
pro-burgers who
Brian
pretend that
Koberger's
everything's
phone.
possible.
Unbelievable
All right.
what those birds can do now. Okay, so we just went out of that town, and I'm not sure if you call it a town, it's just a farm there. And we're still on Bauer Road here. And we basically stay on Bower Road most of the way, all the way to Highway 195, just south of Colton. You can definitely tell this is farming land here.
Yeah, Waze. I have this really cool app on my phone
Man,
for
I can see why people want to live
mapping.
out
Like
here.
GPS doesn't
I mean, this is just
load up into your phone or anything.
Man, waking up in the morning and just feeling like peace. Unbelievable. I mean, even when if it was snowing in the summertime, doesn't matter what time it is, very few people take these roads here. I think this might be where a dog comes running out. It was wild. This dog just came running out to stop my car. Let's see if you can see it on the left here.
There it is. You see that? You guys see
Made
that?
me nervous, and then I looked behind me, and he just
You guys see
ran
that? Look at
after
that. Look
me,
at
out
this.
to stop my car. Let's see if you can see it on the left here.
I'll pause it. Right there, right here. Was that a cat or a dog? It looks like a cat there, but why would a cat do
There it is.
It's kind of like a... Hold on.
Out to stop my car. Let's see if you can see it on the left here.
That's a dog. But whatever. God, that dog could have just ran right in front of me.
There it is. Ooh, God, he made me nervous. And then I looked behind me, and he ran after my car down the road. So it makes you think, man, hardly anybody travels on this road. Interestingly, though, look what time it is right here. So that means it likely only took, 15,
It's not a
20
cat.
minutes to cross using that route there, right? The
Here, look at this while we're doing this. Look at this right here. This is a... Not sure you can see it, but it's called... let's see. GPS... The software is called GPS Waypoints. And it's crazy. Like, you hit the record button, and it tracks all of your movements, and at the end of the day, you can export the KML file and then upload it to Google Earth, and it'll show you right where you walked and everything. That's crazy. But you can set waypoints, but it's just more like you have to figure out how to get to the waypoint. It doesn't show you the route to get to it. Hey, thanks, Sherry Boo.
cutoff route from 95 to 195 where you avoid any larger towns or anything like that.
I don't know, I have an
So
Android. I don't know
here
if it
we're going
works
to get
like
to
that.
Highway 195. Yeah, I believe it was.
Or maybe you
about
can upload
450
it somehow.
when
I don't
you
know
cut
how that
across.
works. Yeah, I have Life 360, but it doesn't have mapping. Like, it doesn't show,
And you know what I think he did? I think he probably, once he got through here, he turned his cell phone off again. This is my opinion. Doesn't mean it's true, but he knew that 195 is coming up. And maybe he even waited until he got to 195. Because once he gets to 195, he doesn't need any more mapping assistance.
Look at Leon Littlejohn
He can just
again.
drive up 195 and it takes him
Thanks, Leon Littlejohn. Very kind. Ashley, Quizzical Girl, Kent Valley, Dixie Bishop, and Deb Table.
into town. He would, however, need to remember
Or Tabby. Deb
to
Tabby.
take a right on,
Oh, that's that table.
I think it's Kuykendall Road, and that ends when
Yeah, it's
his
interesting once he
vehicle- well,
gets-
it doesn't really end there, but his vehicle is
I'll tell you what it was interesting is when he drives up north over here. See, this is like Highway 195, right? Look how 195 goes all the way in. It takes you right into Pullman. Why not take that? I mean, hell, he could have driven up here, taken a right, cut right across, and been right at his apartment. Why not do that? But he didn't do that because he wanted to be a tricky. So he comes in like this and goes this little back way on these roads, Johnson Avenue, then right there. Then he comes in. So it's like, oh, where'd you come from? You get it? I mean, why wouldn't you just keep taking 195 up to your house? Just boom, come in, and shit, you're right there. In 2 minutes, you just come right up here, take a right, and boom. Right? Instead, he goes the way where he just sort of blends in, has to go on all these streets and makes his way up like that.
spotted at, I think it's 5:25 on a surveillance camera. And right now it's 5:07 and 45 seconds. So we're almost to Highway 195 here. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, that they're, I think on 195. Yeah, pause there for a minute. I think I edited out a lot of it. Just trying to clean the windows for your viewing pleasure. And we're about to turn right on Highway 195. Yeah, Vancouver just had that crazy that attack in at a Filipino kind of like a celebration. 5. There we go. 11 people killed. Another wacko Rambo rampage in a car. Coming up next, he does go through that one, but that's why he could probably turn his phone on now. But maybe he didn't even turn it on there. Maybe he went through Colton and then turned his phone on. I don't know. Canada's always really like lax on everything. They don't. You don't get somebody's name. They let you out of prison. Like, remember, this is what I think of Canada. Canada is, in terms of criminal, are so lenient. It just sucks. Like the one guy that chopped off a kid's head. He was on a bus and he was listening on his headphones. I'd rather live in a country that has really strict laws, and hopefully we'll have more of that here. I can't stand the, people breaking the law and just, oh yeah, it's okay. If you steal this amount, you're good. But the guy that got his head chopped off, he was listening to a Walkman, and the guy walked back there and cut his head off, and everybody left the bus, and that guy's on the bus, and he holds out the head and everything, and they caught him, because, boy, they wouldn't want to take a guy like that out, And then they put him in took him in, and then they put him in a mental hospital, and he was out 5 years later. Would any of you feel safe living in a society where a guy that chopped somebody's head off on a bus is just walking among you? And the answer is no. Okay, so thank you, Kathy. When he turned it on now, he could just pretend that he was driving on 195 the whole time. That's what I said. But he must have known that when he turned his phone on at 448 south of Blaine, that wasn't good. But I think he brought his phone. So that's why I wouldn't want to live in Canada. Okay. For that reason. Or I should say, a lot of people think that he wouldn't have brought his phone if he was really that smart as a criminology student, doctor. Yeah, the media, they're like, that's why we don't really cover a lot of crime in Canada, because they don't cover it. They protect their criminals there. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. For its student, even. And I think that he brought it because it's pitch dark out there, and he would need a way to get back home if he got lost. And I can just tell you. Well, but she was a little kid, right? Like, if 13. You don't have your phone as a backup, it's a little different. You would absolutely get lost out there. You could be driving for a long time. Although a lot of the roads head to similar places at different times, but he didn't want to make mistakes. Yeah, I'm not afraid of him at all. I think we're heading in far. A lot of stuff we're doing and stuff that kind of sucks. It hurts, but I think it's the future would get. Spotted, And he wanted to get home before it got light. See, here's the thing, though. Whenever you talk politics on a show, if you don't align with the other people, they cancel you. So I try to avoid talking about it these days. Like if I was say positive things about Trump, and there's a bunch of Trump haters in here, they're going to then not want to support me. So I'd rather just, do my true crime and talk about that. Okay? I use the same logic and common sense throughout my entire life, not just true crime. So it's, whether you want to believe whatever you want to believe, you can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. I am not going to, what I think sucks is that people are so intolerant of other views in politics. Okay? I can't stand that. I think people should be ashamed of themselves for canceling people and doing that shit because they don't agree. I don't care
If you're a Democrat in here, you believe something totally different than me, I don't care at all. I won't think of you any differently. But unfortunately, a lot of times Democrats will punish a Republican because they believe something different than you. And that's an unfortunate reality, but that is the truth. And that's even Bill Maher and other people like that talk about how ridiculous that shit is. Hey, thanks, Judy Grandstrand. Just gifted 5 memberships. All right. Right outside, right? Like he literally... here we go. You're looking at 5:30. It might have gotten light.
That is ridiculous. Sucks.
I don't know what time daylight was that day, but I would imagine maybe half hour, 30 minutes, 35, 45 minutes later, it's probably light outside. But don't quote me on that.
Hey, thank you for your service, Leon Littlejohn. Now we're trying to get Panama back. Get the Chinese out of there who took it over. Why not?
And I didn't look it up. I just thought of it right then. And so if you got lost out there, it would start getting closer and closer to light time and the time of day where people start
Now we're on 195 right here. See?
6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, people are doing things,
See, now 195 is
So currently
not a lot
heading up
of
the highway
cameras here, by the way.
And I think this is where I do another red dot because I remember that house right there. And there we go. We're north of Colton.
Daily Mail reported what? Daily Mail is about 70% accurate.
You drive by.
They do get a lot of pictures quick.
YY Road. I think we already did that actually. And there aren't really any roads coming up that we cross for a while.
Yeah, well. Look at, I've said this on my show before. So if you live in Canada, the fact is true. This is true. Trump's saying it. That you guys do not have to have a really powerful, strong military because we have one and we spend $500 billion a year on it. So that you can, and you don't have to do anything. I mean, you can just have the same amount of money that you're spending on a little small military because you know that we're here to protect you. And I think that's kind of ludicrous, right? I mean, and then you complain about it when Trump says something else that, see, he's finally the person who says it. I've been saying this for 10 years on the show. You guys have heard me say it over and over and over at different times. And it's one of those things where you just look at it and you go, how is that a thing? And they're doing, they don't have debt over there because they don't have to spend the money on that. It's crazy, all right? So, yeah, well, then don't bring it up, Jenna. Don't talk about it. I'm going to do whatever I want on my show, Jenna. And you're the one that made your little stupid comment up above, and then I'm going to respond to it because your comment was dumb. All right? So you got to hear what I wanted to say back.
Mainly driveways to
all right, here we go.
Various locations. I think the next road might be North Meyer Road that we drive by once we start kind of curving around to the right. So on the map here it would be like right around, right up in this point on the map right here is where that road is. And that's North Meyer Road.
Yeah, well, Trump didn't have any wars in his first term.
195.
So got rid of them all.
There isn't really...
Hopefully he gets rid of these ones.
A lot of buildings right next to the road that are going to pick up anything down in these areas. And 95 is the same as well.
Yeah, this is me. I took this route and I filmed it.
Highway you take south of Moscow. And 195 is the highway that you could head south out of Pullman or north into Pullman. But this is, you can see on the map over there, it does this huge sort of U-shaped loop.
Yeah, I don't want wars at all. Does anybody want wars? Like, yay, wars! I think what you want to do is get rid of the damn things.
And then there's a road that goes between Pullman and Moscow.
Thank you, Leon Littlejohn.
A circle.
Again, thank you for your service.
Who the hell would want to do that?
And if there's somebody out there that's watching this, and I'd say Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to comment in the comment section. And again, if you could hit that like button really quick for me, that'd be great. I hope you're...
This is still got another 15 minutes to go here.
This is something that you're not going to see.
No, there's no Trump
any
2028
channel or news network, because most people aren't going to... They don't believe that you'd want to take the time to watch an entire route, but I think it's important to put that information out there.
Hey, look at that. See the thing Jenna set up there. Hey, there's a serial killer that's never been caught that apparently lives between Prince George and Smithers in the bush. Well, that's great, but we'll never be able to cover it because they don't ever put any information anywhere to read about it.
There might be somebody out there that gets an idea off of it, perhaps even in that early portion where he might have put stop for 16 minutes. I mean, we don't know what the reasoning is that there are 13 to 16 minutes of missing time. I'm always assuming, though, that early on he would have wanted to get rid of the bloody knife and bloody clothing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you want to stop the war in Ukraine versus Russia, unfortunately, Russia was much stronger than Ukraine, and the previous administration let the battle happen. So Trump's going to try to solve it, and Russia's going to get more than they had when they first entered. That's just the way it is. Why would Russia go, yeah, forget it, you can have it all back now? You know, it sucks, actually, but that's what happened. And, you know, what are you supposed to do at this point if you want to stop it and save lives?
So that if he happened to be pulled over, he wouldn't have any of those items.
That's why he threw it away earlier.
So you would think that as quickly as possible, he would have figured out a place to put those items.
No,
but it was a place that was off the main road.
I've just played the whole thing back from...
Because it took...
This is from 1122 King Road at 4:20, and mine started at 20 seconds because we didn't know what the precise time was at that time. I'm about 27 seconds off, and I drive all the way on the route that the probable cause document had in it.
16 minutes or so, right? I mean, it's not like you just drove right off the side of the road and put him in a hole and filled it up. You would have been gone in 3 minutes. This seems like something off the beaten path. Then he came back to Highway 95 and then continued on south, and that's why he pinged.
No, I think Kathy said it right, Leon. I mean, people who actually went out and were in the military and, you know, literally went out there and sacrificed them. I mean, those are the awesome people. I think I'm good at true crime, you know, like I literally, and I mean, here's what I think. I think the people, my community, and the people watching that have been on my channel for, you know, some new people, but a lot of the ones that have been here for a long time, you guys are all awesome. I mean, we've turned something into pretty incredible stuff if you think about it. So when you look at this, if you're new here, just look at this for a second. I know you're like, who cares? I do. All right. So, you know, in 2020, we started this thing because the year before we had already donated. So the number's actually higher than that. We donated money to various charities and so forth because it was just felt good, right? Then the next year we sort of made it a thing where in 2020, right during the pandemic, right at the start of it, that whole year, out of the income from the channel with the ad revenue and everything, we donated $22,000. Then the next year, 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic, $42,500 to a DNA fund, Texas Equisearch, all these different places, $42,500. Then in 2022, it was our record at $62,250. I was kind of hoping it would just keep getting bigger, but then the next year it went to $57,350, which is good. That probably really was an increase over the year before. We just had these crazy 2 months of cases where the channel did really well. And then in 2024, last year, we did $49,811. And that's, with the economy and everything. And then this year, the first 3 months were at $10,500. So if you extrapolate that out, that would be $42,000, which isn't that great. So, but we're making progress because last month we gave $5,000, which is almost double. So it's like double in one of the months compared to the previous two. And then this month, I'm hoping that the total
you know, we might get around like 14 after 4 months. So if you multiply that by 3, that would be like 43. You know, we'll just keep moving up. All right, but we have a scholarship fund and a DNA fund, and I just think, like, my channel, I feel proud that we've made a difference, like a massive difference in the true crime world, and also just the way I do the shows, where we have the factual information, where there's a place to go, where people can literally go, oh, well, hell, that makes sense. Maybe it isn't Brent Kopacka. You know what I'm saying? All right. But anyways, you guys are the heroes up there, Leon Littlejohn. I just try to do what I can on my channel to also try to make a difference. His phone on, if you notice that he turns his phone on just prior, 2 minutes prior, to making the turn on Borgen Road that heads across into the dirt road. Goobly gob. You know, cut off all the way to 195.
Nice name.
Don't you find that interesting? That his phone pings right when he turns on, because he needs to have the mapping program on to make it across, and he definitely didn't want to go through those 2 towns. Now here's a cell tower right here. I believe this one is the
I
one
need
near
to turn it
Johnson,
back to
Washington. So this might be
Just
where
rewind a little bit.
5. Don't you
See,
find
there's that cell
interesting?
tower right there. That's the
That his
Johnson,
phone pings
Washington
right when
one.
he turns on, because he needs to have the mapping
Right over
program
here.
on to make it across.
On the side, though.
And he definitely didn't want to go through those 2 towns. Now here's a cell tower right
Right
here.
there. See, that's
I
this
believe
one.
this one is the one near Johnson.
There's Johnson
Washington.
right there. Boom. We
So-
just passed it, so it's right there. Should be a road on the right
program
when we
on
get there.
to make it across.
Thanks,
He definitely
Jack
didn't want to go
Steve.
through those 2 towns. Now here's a cell tower right here. I believe this one is.
And I
the
bet you that one
near
picked him up coming
Johnson,
back in. I
Washington.
bet you. I bet he had his phone
So
on
this
now.
might be
There's a road on the right.
where. I think this is the location near.
that's
where
right
at
here.
5:32.
Now we're going like this.
5:36, he turned it on later in the afternoon.
And eventually we turn here.
However, there's also a cell tower east of Johnson
on Kuykendall.
that
That's
could
what that
also. He could have also pinged on, and
is. Sorry. Got 2 of my voices. Yeah, hey, double the, like doublemint gum.
then at that time, he could have been closer to Highway 95 when his phone pinged off that tower. So that's
Yeah.
an interesting.
But it's
element.
amazing how the other channels, they get more people watching because it's just hype and sensationalism. I literally try to go out and put the picture together, and like you guys see right now, we have 440 people watching. Haven't you seen these other just channels that really don't do anything, and they got like 700 people and 800, and early it looked like we had 1,000, but there wasn't. Okay, nowhere near 1,000.
That is
Hey, thanks,
at the
Leon
location
Littlejohn again.
near Johnson, east of
The legend.
let's say east of Johnson, and then closer to Highway 95, pinging
Yeah,
off
look how
that
nice
other
that is.
tower up on that peak in the middle there. There's a tower, I believe, sort of in this area somewhere, and that's close to
Yeah, he might
Highway
have. Where he dropped it off. I don't know.
95. But what if he turned off?
I don't think he would have
from
been that stupid to put it right next
this
to a
area?
road, though.
Got rid of those items and then came back and then drove down, and then he turns his phone on. Now it's 4:48 because he took some time to drive into here. Pinged off. I guess it pinged off the tower though at 4:48 though, right? But that's the Blaine Tower. That has nothing to do with Johnson. But what I'm saying is, like, the Johnson at 5:32 and 5:36 later in the evening, did he drive somewhere over here where he did something with the knife and
Earlier.
the bloody clothing? And that
Well, why would he go
location
back to it, I
here
guess?
is associated with the missing 16 minutes coming down. So he comes over, let's just say he comes in this area earlier, and then he gets back onto Highway 95, and now it's 4:48. And then later in the evening, when he gets there at 5:32 to 5:36, he then goes out to that same area, because he turns his phone on again because he needs mapping to get through these roads that go into here, and then he collects those items again.
Yeah.
And then he comes back out.
Maybe he did move it.
Turns his phone off again, obviously, because it only went from 532 to 536, and he's in an area where there's a couple cell towers.
And then his phone's off for
So he
2.5
just
hours,
needed
you
really
guys.
quick to use it for mapping.
See, like that, what I'm talking about up here is on the way down, maybe he drove over into here, dropped the items, and then later, when his phone pinged near Johnson, he turns it on over here, goes back and collects those items, and then he's missing for 2.5 hours or so. There's no ping information whatsoever. So is that when he moved? Maybe he did go to Huawei Park right then and throw it into the river. Who knows?
I mean, it's all pretty interesting to try to figure out, but
Because
sometimes I
Huawei is
wonder
over here.
if he stopped somewhere
It's right
in
where the
this
hell is
area
that?
right
there.
here. And when he did that,
So maybe he goes over there and
he
then
took those 16 minutes to
Boom.
dispose of something. And then when he came back around from Clarkson, Washington later, and he's up here at 532 to 536, he then goes this direction, collects those items, or does something else with them.
I don't know, you can send me an
He's
email
back
if
in
I
this
find
area
the
'cause
time
there's a
I
cell tower
Moofies, I might
right
be able
around
to
in this
answer.
area here. And that's why it pinged at 532 to 536. And that explains why there's 17 minutes or 16 minutes of missing time on the route south out of Moscow, Idaho to get to Borgen Road.
So this is what it was.
Hopefully that makes
This is all in the
sense.
dark. This is all in the dark, you guys.
I tried to explain it a few different times there, just to hopefully one of them was I said the way that made more sense to somebody. Okay.
Man, if you guys donate, other than
We
Leon
don't have much
Littlejohn,
more time here. It's 5:19.
12 more memberships, I think we'll be at our
Like I said
record.
before, it does take a ride on Kuykendall Road.
We're at 88.
And that's another
That's
seemingly
crazy. I'm sure almost
intentional
all,
route.
a huge
I think
number is by
Highway
Leon
195 is
Littlejohn.
actually quicker to his house. But he turns on Kuykendall Road, which is another dirt road, and then he gets on Johnson Avenue. So, I mean, it's just really interesting.
So here's
Here's
Kuykendall.
Kuykendall Road.
Why would he turn here, you
And
guys?
look what
Why did he
time
do
it is,
this right here?
5:19 and 36 seconds.
Oh my
Does this road look
God!
familiar?
Look at that.
Here's the
M10 just
road.
did 20.
Nobody around.
Oh
No
my
really
God!
good reason to take it.
Thank
If
you,
look at the map
M10.
right here,
Jeez.
195 goes right into Pullman.
Why do you think he
You can
turned
go
right
home
here, you guys?
over here? Instead, he takes us right on Kuykendall,
So we got
and then he sort of
Just
shows up
Debbie,
in this area. He is spotted
Good
right
Juju
there.
Travels, Happy Bath
And then
Bar,
just kind of
Funk
makes his way
Dat,
back to
Nikki,
his house.
Lady
His phone pings
Carter,
at 5:30 in Pullman.
Hammers,
So
Monica
is that when he turned it
Muse,
on again
Ashley.
finally? And then he
And
took
Curly
that other back route because he believes there was
Godiva.
less cameras on Kuykendall.
Janelle H.
And he
Thank
turns
you
his
guys.
phone
Wow,
back on
you guys are amazing.
5:30 in the morning.
But isn't this road? Look at this
Like I
road
said
here.
before,
What
I
is
don't
it?
think you need to
How
have
does
a
it
phone on
resemble?
195.
Oh my God! Get
You
rid of
really
that
had
one
to
over
remember
there.
Where Kuykendall
Holy
Road was.
crap.
That's the only thing you had to remember. Then you turn on that, and then this road, Kuykendall,
Why would you
goes
come on
to
my
a
channel and
T
ask
in
for
the road,
membership?
and you would just have to remember you turn left.
Jesus,
And after you
gotta
turn
be
left,
kidding me.
You're going to be heading right into the,
What the hell?
Johnson, Washington
I mean, I'm talking about.
camera.
There was another YouTuber up there that's a total
location.
Brian Koberger supporter, and they just got a free membership. The hell are they doing over
520 and 521.
here? Come on, Leon Littlejohn again.
What do you guys think about that?
But look at the road right here, you guys. This looks just like the original road. There's no way there's a surveillance camera out here. Leon Littlejohn and then Forgetful Mandy. Holy crap, you guys.
Don't you think that these routes are completely
Well, now we're way over the
intentional
record
to
with
try
all
to
those.
avoid as much exposure to cameras as possible, and his phone turning on and off at various times. You know, like I was just telling you about a minute ago, the 5:32 to 5:36 and that's PM. When he left from Clarkson, Washington earlier, he goes to
Yeah, I don't know if
his
we'll ever
phone
beat
pings
that.
near Johnson, Washington
That's
in
too
the evening
much.
on the
That's-
same day, though.
So almost 12 hours after this right here, his phone's pinging in Johnson.
See, look, there's no
Washington,
cameras out
being
here,
in
right?
Clarkston, Washington.
So imagine
Heads
this
on
being
up.
nighttime.
And then he turns it on just for a moment to get that mapping information again. And then he turns it off. And then he gets back on the highway 195 and
So
heads
this is
back
where we're
into
at right here.
town. But I believe
We're driving
that
right like
on
this.
This route early in the morning.
I'm going to take a left coming in.
when I think he turned off at 4:50 is what it was, and he turned on Borgen Road, and then he made his way to 195. Once he hit 195, he turned his phone off.
It doesn't
and
have
never
it.
turned it on again until he was
Map
in
there.
Pullman. Then he turned it on basically when he's about home, just to be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
this is
thanks
where I've been
everybody.
the
Wow,
whole
it's
time."
just crazy.
The only thing he would have had to remember.
And tomorrow's
was
our donation night.
and to turn left.
Maybe
right
tonight was
here.
like half of that.
I guess
I don't know.
I guess it's around the corner here. Excuse me. Yeah, right here. This is where the T is
So here's that turn right here.
at the stop sign. Up, another rolling stop, you guys. Oh boy. And here we go. We're turning and making our way onto Johnson Avenue. I think we might even be on that
That'd be
now.
pretty
I don't
awesome,
remember
M10
if
if
it
it
then
was.
turns into another road. Let me go look on a side map here. Yeah, this is already Johnson Avenue here. So after we turned left, we were on Johnson Avenue, and that's in a little area called Busby. And so we're on Johnson Avenue. Look at this. 0 possibilities of being caught on a camera at this point.
Yeah, see, it's just driving around right on this, right up in here, and then he comes back in. I think he did it intentionally.
He must have not figured that there was
What he
one
does is
in one-
he doesn't want to be continually tracked. So he's on 195, then he goes on this crazy side road, and then all of a sudden his car just appears somewhere. And it's, it's a good way to sort of, hide where you're going and what you're doing from law enforcement.
one of those businesses.
Apparently not
that,
good enough, though.
Filmed him when he was
Yeah,
just
it's tomorrow
driving by from a distance.
But Gray, he was
So now
stargazing.
we're at 524.
He was at Wawa Park,
and
you
the probable
bastard.
cause says that at 525
Oh, yeah.
he spotted
Copernicus himself.
on-
He was out there. He was.
Johnson Avenue. And that was at, I think it's 1300 Johnson Avenue at 525. And that's where we're going to be pulling over.
I can
show
picture
you
Koberger puts on
the
an
video
outfit
where
to
the
be
cameras are. I'm not going to
a
stop the
scientist
video,
with a
but just
telescope
the
when he
time
goes
is
out
that
there.
You'll see that on the building, if you can make it out, there's 2 cameras, one on the left, one on the right.
Look what time it is, you guys. Look at the time up there. 5:24:38.
But don't you think that's amazing? That at 4
All right, so let's see what we got on the timeline. I guess we skipped a bunch of crap. So during that drive, we had, well, no, basically the whole drive, there's nothing going on. So at 5, look at you guys, look at that drive we just did. At 5:25 and 29 seconds, it drives by a camera near Pullman, Washington on 13, is that really 1330 Johnson Avenue? That's weird that we have another 1330 Linda Lane. But anyways, here we go.
48. Once his phone pinged.
Wait, hold on. What was that time again? 5:25:29. Look what time it is on the clock up here, you guys. All right, let's just see what happens.
Driving was totally consistent and there's no missing time. Right when he turned it on. That should mean something to people. Brian Koberger turns his phone on at 4:48 and had a completely consistent driving time after that. Alright, so it's 5:25. Actually, I hadn't thought of that particular verbiage until just then. I think that's absolutely important. That means prior to that, he was doing other things.
And thanks again
now
up there
he
to
needs
Forgetful
to
Mandy, Leon
get back, so he
Littlejohn,
turns his phone on, and then the car
Curly
drives
Locks,
at a totally
M10.
normal pace.
LH.
So here it is right here. So it's 5:25.
Wow, look at this. Yeah, baboom. Look what time it is right there.
5:25:35, and mine, and the real time was 5:25:29 right there. You see that? Drives by 1330 Johnson Avenue. Is that crazy? I mean, within 5 seconds. And 35 seconds. And then I pull in, and absolutely perfect. Here we go. So right there, I don't know if you can see that little dot there, but that's a camera. Inside right there, there's a camera right below that window. See? And then see it there. And then there's another camera. There's another camera right here. See that? So there's 2 cameras on that building that filmed the white Elantra driving by. There, as I'm spinning away fast on the building there. So that camera picked up the white Elantra driving through. I mean, that's amazing police work to have found all of these, the ones that they did use. And then the vehicle continues to travel on Johnson Avenue here. And this is where this is that gas station coming up here in a second. So this will be interesting. I haven't seen this yet. A moment here. The video will stop it. Apparently you can still see a little bit on the camera that the right, so this building here now films this vehicle driving in this direction, and then based on, and so it's picking this car up as it's driving by right here. This Chevron gas station. 5:25. There might even be a camera over here that saw him, and then when he's driving, and then another camera on the on the north side of that building films this same vehicle there driving up here. Vehicle is also just like spotted this multiple times, and then his phone turns on at 5:30. It pings. Okay, so it's just right here. The video. Right, so I think he turns left here. I go right to go back to Moscow. So where this is right here is right there. So it pulled up, and you can go left or right, and then right takes you on that blue line all the way back to Moscow over here. So that's it. Okay? That's it. He took a left there. He took a left right there, and I'm taking... All right, so that's it. That's all I got. That's pretty cool, though, isn't it, to actually see that route through there? Where his infractions involving disparaging women. Were his infractions involving... Well, he just one time said you have nice birthing hips. He was also he went to a certain specific bar, I think back in Pennsylvania, and they had his name written down on a list in a book because he was doing weird things or saying weird things. Oh yeah, and Zozo sent me something yesterday regarding this. They have a case that they're doing a coroner's inquest over there, where there was a guy that went into a shopping mall, and he killed 6 people in less than 3 minutes with a K-bar knife in 2024, and I think he actually was mimicking Kohberger, because I guess apparently this guy was like kind of into that stuff, like looking to see what other killers were doing. And they ended up shooting him, but they're going over the case. Pretty sad. Victims are sort of similar-ish, young. A lot of them are sort of young, pretty girls. It's in Australia, though. Different, like in that way, but he just goes into a mall, and those people are all awake and alert. And Kohberger went into a house that's spread out too, right? And this one, it's everybody sort of condensed in a small house, and they're all drunk and sleepy. Okay, so there's big difference, and even easier for Kohberger to do what he did. So sounds like Leon Littlejohn just retired. His sister was in. I don't know what that... Oh, the movie that his sister was in. No, I didn't see that. I thought the name of the movie was His Sister Was In. Right.
Okay, everybody. I think that's going to do it, though, for tonight. We've been on here for 3 hours and 24 minutes and 55 seconds so far. All right, but do you guys find the show interesting, at least? We went through a whole bunch of stuff. See, the stuff that you get to see on this channel, nobody else is playing. You're not going to see any of this on Court TV. You're not going to see it on other YouTube channels. You're not going to see it on Law and Crime. You're not going to see it anywhere else, whatever. When you're on this channel, you actually get to see stuff that you get to the point where you feel like you just know it all. Like it just boom, it's all right there. And this one actually showed, this video that we just watched showed the entire route from being parked by the side of the house and then leaving at a high rate of speed through the Willanta Drive and then back on Conestoga, then Palouse River Drive, and then we account for the 16 minutes of missing time, and then we do the whole route from at that point at 448 pinging near Blaine. So there you go. Yeah, so but let's try to avoid the when people bring up politics, because people are, I used to not care as much, but nowadays people, it's just, you know what, never works out. So I don't care, I don't know, just don't bring up anything in general. I mean, I might bring up, I don't know, just try not to make it where it's incendiary, just say something positive or something. And if somebody says something positive about somebody, we don't have to have the attacks, people saying back, right? I think most people aren't going to say positive things about, no, never mind, I won't say. Yeah, well, I got a whole bunch more stuff too. Like I even drove one time like this. Let me show you. I drove like this down this road, then up to right here, and then up into here, and then there was some kind of a road that was crazy. It was, I don't know if it was right there. No, I think it was, we made it all the way up to almost here, like right on this road, and then there's a fence up there. So we made it up, so that must have been where we came up. It was crazy. It was ice all over the place. So I think that might have been it. Yeah, something. Okay, I think that's the road. This one. We drove this road right here and winded around up into this with ice and snow on the ground. Came up like that, and then it winds up into, through the trees up into here. Maybe if we find a different time of year. Let's see. I think these trees are always thick, though. They don't. Yeah, and came driving around and made our way up into this area, and then there's a fence, but I was trying to get up into here. Looks like these are all kind of like governmental towers and different things like that. That's why they have a fence there. I doubt a movie Kohberger's Sisters and it's going to be good. Okay, it's going to be a B movie and not good. Who you talking to me? Armature. Yeah, I mean, I had a well, I still have it. I just don't use it very often. The political channel, and that's kind of cool because we're all sort of like-minded thoughts over there, etc. But I don't know. Politics in our country now suck. Everybody's so polarized, and that's why I always say I want somebody like Mike Rowe from Dirtiest Jobs to be the president of the United States. I think he would be. He's a great thinker, great speaker. Everybody likes him. He sort of transcends parties. He's really into I'm sure Leon probably knows who he is. He's really into the trades. He wants people to do the trades. And it just seems like somebody like that would be so great. You know? Just a rational thinker, does the right stuff all the time, and is not polarizing himself. Just a... That's sort of what I look forward to it someday, have somebody like that. Anyways, that's where them towers are. What? Yeah, those are towers there. Those aren't the ones supplying. There's a tower right here. That's where the address of it is. I don't know where the actual tower is. Maybe it's somewhere around here. And then there's another tower, a couple towers over here on that thing. Yeah. So there you go. Right now. Oh, so right at this moment, you're officially retired. That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So what are you going to do? You going to chill out on watching Gray Hughes Investigates, or go do a trip somewhere? Mr. Gray? Well, thank you, Robin. Gotta have someone in OFC office which isn't afraid to shake. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think Mike Rowe would shake things up, but he would do it in a way that wouldn't be, make people angry. He'd explain it. He's such a great speaker that he could explain it to you where you would go, oh, okay. Makes sense. He's what you want is common sense people that force common sense on the nonsensical. Like we've all said the same thing about sports and having, men competing against women because they claim that they're something. I've been saying this for 6 years on this channel, way before it was ever a thing in the news, and now you see the backlash and what's actually happening out there, okay? That's just lunacy. I mean, I defend women and their rights, and to, have women's dreams shattered, at least in the sporting world, by some guy who comes in and claims something. That's just absolutely insanity. I don't even know how that became a thing. Well, I know when it started. It was Bruce Jenner, who became Caitlyn Jenner, when she won the ESPY for like whatever, some inspirational figure, whatever the hell it was. She said, well, you should be able to compete with the people that you identify with. Now they've completely changed their mind, and that was really irresponsible to say, and it just absolutely became ludicrous. Is that politics that I'm saying here, or is it just human factual information? I mean, are you kidding me? My God. It's unreal, you guys. I mean, just the level that it's defended, too. It's just sick. Now, I understand, it sucks for people who are transgender and claim to be transgender, that there isn't this readily available league or something that they can compete in right away. But to just sort of put the men, the transgender females, in and let them compete against other females was absurd. I mean, just absolutely mind-numbingly absurd, and makes no sense no matter how you look at it. Okay? I don't care about your little, well, if you give them a certain amount of hormones, we do this and that. It just doesn't make any sense. There's nothing. Men just have different structure muscularly, and even if they took as many, I'm not sure what the term is, hormones as possible, they're still going to be naturally stronger and bigger, etc. It's just the way it is. Now, then the women, a lot of times when they're trying to defend it for some reason, they'll go, oh, well, how about this one girl? She could beat it. Well, no, but if you put that same girl against Mike Tyson, forget it. It's just, I don't know. That's one of the things I don't get is women supporting it. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're really just creating a horrendous situation. You've worked too hard to allow something like that. Come by, drinks are on me. Hey, look at that. Leon Littlejohn.
It's horrible for the girls who are depending on it for college. Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's something I brought up in here just randomly. Oh yeah? Huh. I mean, probably them being transgender doesn't have any reason unless they went missing on their own. I mean, just the fact that they're transgender doesn't mean somebody did something to them because of that. Or, you know, a lot of times they just, you know, somebody that's transgender might take off. Hell no, I see a guy in a bathroom, it's over. Yeah. Common sense is not common anymore. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has a nuance. You know, you're not with bags. Right, so that means they probably just took off on their own. Accountability. My daughter is a female goalie for ice hockey, women's hockey. Every dude can kick her ass. Well, here's what I will say. I've said it 1,000 times, though. I think women, if you're good enough, should be able to compete with men in sports if you literally make the team. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like if a woman, let's say there's a basketball player like Caitlin Clark, who is bigger than she is and stronger and could shoot like she could and make shots. You should be able to compete at a higher level than you're at. So there's women's athletics, and then there should be something. Well, also look at it like this. In the Olympics, don't you think in the Olympics it would be better to have open, like track and field should be open, but then you get gold medals for categories. So wouldn't it be better in track and field to have it's open, and then you have a 100-meter dash, and women race against men and everything, and you just take your time, and at the end, the top 8 women compete against each other, and at the end, the top 8 men compete against each other. However, if a woman was fast enough where she's 7th overall out of everybody, she's in the final heat with the men. Okay? And her time is still compared to the women, and she'll get the gold medal for women anyways. But what if she was just so extraordinary where she could run the 100-meter dash in 9:85 or something, and she just, you know, I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I'm just saying, why not, right? That doesn't bother me at all. It's when you go backwards. You take some male and have him compete against women. That's where the problem is. But women should always be able to compete with men if they're good enough and make the team naturally. Like they literally make the team. Not, well, we got to put a woman on the team, so then... No, you don't do it like that. If they're good enough to be on the team, they make the team. Does everybody agree with that? You shouldn't have... You don't separate them... like, you don't have to always separate if somebody's good enough to compete. You just don't go the other way around, backwards. How long did it take you to make the entire loop? We just showed it, LMO. We just showed the whole thing. I left at 4:20 and got over there at 5:26. So I would say, you know, hour and 6 minutes. Yeah, but I mean, if there's a woman in the track and field that could run the 100 meters in, let's just, you know, throw it out there as a ridiculous 9 seconds, and the fastest man in the world's 9.6, shouldn't she get a gold medal for the world? That's what I'm talking about. See, women should always be able to compete at a higher level if they're good enough. A soccer, something like that. Let's say there's this just really incredible soccer player, female, that just has really good moves, really accurate and stuff. And, you know, why not? She can make the team. She makes the team. You know, that's it. She should be able to play in the NASL against the men. And I think that's where it gets really exciting and interesting. Like Michelle Wee, for example. Do you remember her? When she was 14 years old, she was like 6 feet tall. She could hit 300-yard drives. She played in the Sony. She went and tried to qualify. Her whole goal was to compete against men. And she went to qualify for the U.S. Open. She made it through all the original. She beat everybody in the first stuff, made it to the final match play stuff, and she didn't make it. But she came very close. And then they let her play in the Sony Open, and she missed the cut by one shot. I mean, that's incredible. A 14-year-old girl, she literally missed the cut by one stroke in a PGA Tour event. That is nuts. And all the guys were going over and watching because she was incredible. I mean, just 300-yard bombs, really accurate. And then she just kind of went downhill a little bit after that because she hurt her wrist and things just went haywire. I'm not sure what sports you're talking about, Zozo, but yeah, they wouldn't change. You're maybe not in footy. Yeah, it wouldn't work like that. And football, yeah, maybe you could have a field goal kicker or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like track and field or basketball. If you're good enough, you're good enough. It's just what it is. I'm sure it'd be difficult in football or Australian rules footy. Something like that, it'd be ridiculous. But because they're going to just get injured, and they likely would never make the team in Australian rules football because it's too physical and there'd be too much of an advantage. But like bowling, for example, does it really matter? Or darts, or who gives a crap what your gender is? In darts, I mean, shit, you're either accurate or you're not. Right, but I believe that trans should compete against trans. I totally agree with that. Or, if they want to. Well, here's the thing. If you're trans and you haven't taken hormones, you should be able to compete against... Like, if you're a woman who is trans male, you should be able to compete against other females because you are a female, as long as you haven't taken any hormones for becoming a male. You get what I'm saying? Because now you're increasing. It's like taking steroids for a female athlete. You just can't do it. So, a dude in a wig plays with men. Right. Now, let's see. If you're good enough as a man, then stay in your lane. If you're good enough as a female, stay where you are. Don't change. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't get what you wrote. So I don't understand Leon saying, well stated. I don't even know what you just said. I can't understand it. If you're good enough as a man, then stay in your lane. If you're good enough as a female, stay where you are. Don't change. What? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Right. If you're good enough as a female. You mean if you make a team as a female or what? I don't think that's what you're saying. Going in the... Right. If you're good enough as a man, then stay in your lane. I'm just not sure what you're saying. At all. Let's see. And then you said if you're... But you're saying good enough. What does that have to do with the bathroom? Right. It's not fair enough. But you know what's weird is when I talked about this 5 years ago, this same conversation, see how it's just all one-sided? We all agree, it's just obvious. When I talked about it 5 years ago, I'd have so many people arguing back, and it would make me so angry. I just couldn't get, I didn't understand. It was just unbelievable how many people would go, I don't know, Gray, I mean, geez, they are a female, so... shouldn't they? And it just went on and on and on. But I think over the last 5 years, people actually get it. Right, exactly. Well, that's what they do, Zozo, in swimming. They get... I just don't understand the comment up there. It says, if you're good enough as a man, then stay in your lane. Right. If you're good enough as a female, stay where you are. Don't change. I don't know. I guess I need that explained to me. Oh, you're in Seattle, Leon Littlejohn. That's not too far from me, really. I live in Portland, so about 3 hours away. Right. Men shouldn't cross sports, period. Women, however, should be able to cross sports if they're good enough. So I wouldn't say to stay in your lane if you're a female, if you're good enough to play with men. Okay. I'm still confused about that up there. Oh, I thought you said good enough, Robin. Yeah, I agree with that. Don't go into the female bath. Yeah, man. Yeah, of course. I thought you were talking about sports because you said good enough. So males who aren't good enough, right? The males that aren't good, like in the swimmer, against Riley Gaines, for example. Like he gets in there, this big guy. You know, he wasn't even good. He was decent swimmer, right? But when he competed against the women, he was the best by a mile. I mean, just shattered records. Is that cool? Is that cool, you know? Oh, cool, Leon Littlejohn. Very nice. You're more mixed up on this than the BK timeline. BK timeline is easy against gender stuff. Right. Anyways, I'm just done with the show anyways. Just kind of talking for a minute. So, all right. We only had 2 coffees tonight. We had Leon Littlejohn and Ted Bundy. And that was it. All right, so thank you to CR who gifted a membership right out of the gate. Then we had Vintage Peacock, Vicky White, Timothy Moore, Cynthia Gamez, Justify, or not Justify, I don't even know what it says. Just to live or something. Just live. Keep up the great work, they said. Model 457 Rose. Leon Littlejohn with 10 memberships. Then Von Dazen, LH, Alley Cake, Jessica Schubach, Cheryl Moran, Timothy Cecil, Amy Mom 2020. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5. Then Von Dazen, Michelle H, Slenderella, CR, Jeffrey Sidal. Then CR gifted a membership. Alley Cake gifted 1. Then Leon Littlejohn again. Then Cheryl Moran gifted 10. Then Just Live, new member. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5. Then KK. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5 again. I think we're up to 30 there. Then CR. Then Leon Littlejohn gifted 5. 35. Then CR with a cat eye. Susan Smith and Cheryl Moran with a double cat eye. Very generous there. Thank you very much. Suzef, Leon Littlejohn. Then Leon Littlejohn with 5. And then Alyssa and Kami. So that's 41 for Leon Littlejohn right there. Mustang Sally. Then C. Barlow, new member. Then Yasmin, Justin. Then Leon Littlejohn again with 5 more. That's 46. Then I gifted 5. Then he did 5 more. That's 51. Then Kami, Sherry Boo, Leon Littlejohn, 5 more. That would be 56. Then Kathy Blanton, Judy Grandstrand gifted 5. Leon Littlejohn gifted 1. That's 57. Then we had Jack D, Leon Littlejohn 5, 62. My God. And then Curly Lock Liva, Janelle H, Leon Littlejohn 5 again. Or 10 more, really. Oh, no, 5 more again, so that was
what is that, 57? And then Forgetful Mandy gifted 5. 57, you're about half of all of them, Leon Littlejohn. Very kind. Thank you so much. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I easily made a Reck. I mean, I don't think I've ever been anywhere near 119. That's 119 members. Some were bought by people. Then we had but 100 and some odd number gifted. That's crazy. Amazing. All right, you guys. Well, tomorrow is our donation night, and then we just keep on trucking, go through the next month. All right. So, anyways, thanks everybody, and congratulations, Leon Littlejohn, for retiring, and thank you guys all for your generosity. I don't know. I'll probably be on. I'll try to come on maybe at 5 o'clock. What do you think? Should I try to do 5 my time, a little earlier, or to 6? Does that'd be 9 East Coast time? 5 would be 8 East Coast time. But anyways, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And yeah, wow. Feel really fortunate, really generous stuff. Anyway, well, thank you guys. I'm glad that there's people that are sort of seeing how we're doing stuff over here. It seems like we always get overlooked. People try to destroy me on the social media aspect because they don't like that I try to raise funds on my channel for support my channel, and then they never mention the part about how we give away a lot of money as well. They always just talk about how I try to bring in their income, because there's no other income on live streams, and that's what I used to only do is live streams. And other than super chats, there's really hardly any ad revenue. So that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, I do live streams every single day. I try to make videos too to take pressure off of the live streams, but sometimes, like the other night, YouTube just sort of forgets about your video. And tomorrow, well, I was thinking, you want to do 6? How about does 6 o'clock sound good tomorrow? All right, I'll do it 6 o'clock my time, so 9 o'clock East Coast time. Is that all right? Well, I'm not sure what time. Are you in the Central time? Moofies? Where do you live? I don't know. Aren't you like 5 hours behind, but a day ahead? So, like right now, it's 5 o'clock, right? Zozo, what time is it right now over there in Australia, where you live? Isn't it like 5 o'clock? 5:10? Oh, wow, that's 7 hours. So that means if we do it at 6 o'clock, it would be 11 p.m. a.m. your time. 11 a.m. your time. But they're tomorrow. Zozo's a time traveler. She's actually living on the 30th currently. All right. Well, anyways, thank you guys very much. We will see you guys tomorrow. All right. So thanks again, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time,
Hey, Timmy!
I've seen one person.
People didn't remember who you were earlier.
I know they didn't remember who I was. They don't like me. They don't like me. I'm a lie detector. Gonna get ya like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar.
What the hell are you doing, Timmy?
Yeah, Timmy, what are you doing?
Gonna be a protector, fooled off lector, interceptor, and I'm in a specter with a vector.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Wow, Timmy, you're good.
Just remember I've
Thanks, Mary Lou.
I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to
You shut up, Paulette.
And in the
Paulette, let her, you shut up.
on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Paulette Leonard
let's get
told
right
Timmy
back
to
it.
shut
All
up.
right, everybody. Talk to you.
That isn't very nice. That wasn't very nice, Paulette.
That really wasn't, Paulette. We all like Timmy here, don't we?
We sure do, Mary Lou.
Well, Paulette doesn't like me, I can tell you straight out of the chute. She doesn't like me.
Well, I can see why. Listen, you sound like a robot when you type. How about a little bit of an accent?
What are you talking about? I don't have an accent.
I know, that's what I mean. Forget it. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And be safe out there. That's my Phil Hendry imitation.